Carmelo Anthony had been white, not only would he have not been convicted, there had never been charges. This is Old Texas Paul. Hope your coffee's as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. I really do. Whole thing was a goddamn tragedy, and it was started by the kid that died. But if Carmelo Anthony had been white and the other kid had been black, these same people that are calling Carmelo Anthony a murderer would be celebrating him all over social media as standing up. Yeah. Young man, 14-year-old man by the name of Carmack Belton was his last name. Was chased down in South Carolina. Chased. The guy had to chase him and shot him in the back. The guy that shot him was white. Belton was black. That jury said self-defense because he was white. The only reason Carmelo Anthony was convicted was because we are a broken, fucking, bigoted country, and Carmelo Anthony was black. Any other way you slice this, it would have been self-defense.
What's good, y'all? How you guys doing out there? Welcome back to another Elite Live Streams. I felt like today, since we're gonna be talking about some dark topics, you know what I mean? I felt like we could kind of keep it on the low, you know what I'm saying? Because this one is gonna get dark tonight. Obviously, there's been a lot of developments, man. A lot of people are talking about this, justifiably so. I think this has reached the mainstream. Obviously, now they're talking about that Elon Musk is asking about video evidence, and he wants to see the video that all these witnesses have now come out after the case has basically been, completed. Carmelo Anthony was sentenced to 35 years in prison. Obviously, a lot of people feel like that was a total unjust verdict. Justifiably so. I think now people are asking questions, you know what I'm saying? And as I just played, this young white fellow here is now getting threats on his life because of this specific video right here. Now, obviously, over here, we love to play a lot of conspiracies, and we like to put things together, and we like to smash on white supremacy. You feel me? And right now, I think a lot of people are being exposed. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we just witnessed Charleston White do a full 180 to turn his back on the Anthony family. Very, very unfortunate move. You know what I'm saying? We witnessed something happen in real time. And it's kind of weird. I mean, y'all let me know, man. Like people's real lives are on the line right now, and people are using it for content. it feels weird. Y'all let me know, man, if this feels weird. Like, it feels weird that people are aligning themselves for content with a family who is fighting for their son's freedom and justice. Does that feel weird to y'all? Because you know me, man, I like to look at it all. You know what I'm saying? And it's very interesting now that obviously the father, Jeff Metcalf, has completely come unhinged once he got the gag order lifted. First thing he did was what? He went live. Like, what do I mean? Okay. I mean, if we looking right now, like just how people are moving, you know, yeah, I got it right here. Like, let's pull it up for the people so that the people can see what we're talking about.
You have embarrassed your own culture and race. Don't get me wrong. We got a lot of people that embarrass me too. But you guys, you got a patent on that. And the only people that's going to change it are you. Don't blame the white person because we can't change it. But you're going to blame the white person for everything else. I'm going to tell you right now. Charleston White, you think you're funny? We'll see who's laughing. Drew Anthony, you're a and a coward, and you raised one. Kayla, you drunk. What'd you do to that boy to make him stab somebody? My God, what kind of mother are you?
All right, I would like to make a quick warning because it's very graphic. So anybody out there with trigger warnings, this is the type of person that we're dealing with here. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if y'all can hear me well on the microphone right now. Just put a 1 in the chat. Let me know if y'all can hear me clear. But yeah, this is the type of rhetoric that like the Unspoken talked about. You know what I'm saying? Yes, the gag order was lifted. And so Torian, salute to Torian. He says the gag order was lifted and now it's so the veil. Yes, sir, man. It was very quick. It was very swift. Obviously, at the very beginning, everybody was talking about, let's not make this about race, right? But as soon as the veil was lifted, like Torian says,
Unbiased, you dumb If you answer the question, I can't send a black man to jail because he's black, you're not getting on the jury. You're so unintelligent, you can't even fill out a form correctly. You don't even know who your daddy is because 78% of you don't have your father in the home anymore. You got baby mamas running around with 8 kids so they can get EBT cards to feed you all. You think I'm being racist? No, I'm being real. Because it ain't only black people. White people do the same. I'll call them out just as hard as I'll call you out. Anybody who doesn't work, who wants free government handouts, who wants to live in a social list.
That part. Because who is the major recipients of SNAP benefits, y'all? That's why I love the people who patronize my channel. Who are the biggest patrons of government assistance, y'all? Y'all let me know who's the biggest recipient. But like it says, every projection is a confession. And that's facts, man. His family is not intact, correct. He's coming from the broken side of things, man. Keep talking. We made you go viral intentionally. Yes, sir. You have now exposed yourself. And let's keep it real. A lot of people in this space have exposed themselves through this Carmelo Anthony case. And I think sometimes a lot of people forget that just because we're on the internet, that does not translate to real life. Like, you guys' opinions, whatever you guys are saying right now, these will be on the internet forever. And to be on the wrong side of history and not informed, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people making their opinion and they haven't even done any research. And it's very, very interesting now, you know what I mean, that all these things have now come out. Now, what do? Do you stand on a man with these type of views who is you guys putting up, he should be a grieving father for his son. You know what I'm saying? But obviously the first thing he ran to was social media. And so that speaks to his character and what he's really on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let them tell it, right? Yeah. They don't know what they're talking about. And they spew it off just based on old things. Like, come on, y'all, like grow up. Yeah, we live in rent-free in their head. We didn't even have to make that video, right? Like literally, bro, you should be literally taking some time. You should be getting the mind right after what you're going through. Obviously, this is a traumatic time. You should be worried about that. But here you go, running to social media, doing 3-hour lives, bro, just to talk crazy about black folks. Like, what's wrong with you, man? It's crazy. Yeah, unspoken. They'll make excuses saying his racism is grieving. Yeah. Isn't it funny though? Like in every case, black folks are the punching bag when people are upset. Like, they got to take their anger out on us. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, how is that any way to express yourself when you're on that type of time? Like, what are we doing? And so that's why it was important for me to look this up, because now, like I mentioned, like, you know, you got people like Charleston White who were getting next to the family, and now he's literally changed up and trying to, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know what Charleston's on, but it was despicable behavior. And it's wild to think that this is kind of like where we're at. Like, this is where we're at. Like, look at this, y'all.
Society, move to Russia. And normally I don't normally attack people like this, but I have been cooped up and caged up in this anger. And this is something I'm trying to work on. I need to develop it and funnel it into a more constructive way. But tonight is the one time I'm going to allow myself, it's okay. Tonight I'm going to allow myself to say what I really want to say. Because most of the time I don't say what I want to say because it's not correct. Just because you think something doesn't mean you believe it. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it wrong. Doesn't make it a fact.
So, Jeff, since it doesn't make it a fact, why are you saying it? What made you do that, bro? You could express your anger in so many other different ways, but then you want to go and make disparaging things about black people and the Carmelo Anthony's family. And, you know, mind you, this only helps his case for his appeal. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. Spoken says the truth is Jeff and his son Austin were not close, because if they were, he would not have said anything about black folks. He would be telling stories of them fishing and dad and son stuff. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Charleston, in my opinion, is a court jester and should not be taken seriously by anyone. Yeah, I think he has to be completely unfunded and completely left alone in the culture. I think at this point, like, there should be no debate about what he does and what he's on. And if anybody is moving with them, you have to look at them sideways, because at this point, it's just content to him. And like I mentioned, like, this is their life. Like, Carmelo Anthony's life is on the line right now. You know what I mean? He's in prison and they already convicted him for 35 years. And he's trying to appeal that. And he needs to make sure that anybody who is around him or attached to this case is a serious individual who is going to fight for his justice and his freedom, because he has an uphill battle in the area that he's in. Obviously, we already know about Frisco, Texas, you know what I'm saying? And the percentage of people that are density black there, you know what I'm saying? And so now, him being in there, yeah, they're gonna milk this, right? Facts, man. Yeah, until yes, because you know, a lot of people are trying to be on that side of the history where, you know, they think it's for the views. And like I mentioned, like, it's crazy sometimes where I'll see or hear things, or you know, I think Tori, and I was watching your video, bro, about Amaro Fido, you know what I'm saying, and the other dude, I forget his name, but they were on some live stream and they were just saying very disparaging things about black folks, and obviously, you know, they live in those spaces. And yeah, Andre Williams, there you go. Yes, exactly, bro. You did a great video, man. And if y'all are in the chat, man, make sure you go over to Torian's channel and watch that video. It was a beautiful breakdown of it. But this is just like a mention of kind of the same talking points that Jeff Metcalf is speaking on right here. You know what I'm saying? And you talked about that playbook where it's the same white supremacist rhetoric of false information about the black community that in reality, like when you actually look at the numbers, it always shows the fact that it's their community who is the biggest proponents of these. Yeah, man. Exactly, bro. Yes, he said that same thing in that same live, right? And there is definitely like, yes, facts. And I think he once this had happened, you know, they had to put him under that gag order because it would make the case look terrible. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I think having that connection to Charlie Kirk and all the, you know, social media aspect of it all, you could see that Jeff Metcalf was trying to, you know what I'm saying, make it into this big thing where he could try to act like like he's somebody's father figure to tell somebody anything to do, right? Where he was the one where his family, they already had brought up his history. You know what I'm saying? And now, of course, like I mentioned, like it's so in vogue for people to talk down on black folks when they're upset. Like that's how they take it out on people. That's how they take out their anger on people. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna talk down on black folks. Like, okay, bro, like, like, okay, bro, like, yeah, sure, right. Because look at this. Like, no, I'm gonna bring this back, man, because this is just ridiculous.
You can't be unbiased, you dumb If you answer the question, I can't send a black man to jail because he's black, you're not getting on the jury. You're so unintelligent, you can't even fill out a form correctly. You don't even know who your daddy is because 78% of you don't have your father in the home anymore.
No, that's just a lie. You feel me? That's just a lie. Like what? Like, like I told you, I came up in a very traditional, beautiful Black American family. Both of my parents are still married to this day. You know what I mean? Like all of the people around me, the families that I grew up in, are all married Black families. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, you know, I think it's an easy thing to say because they don't like to talk about the skeletons that are in their closet. Obviously, we already know, like, we already know what their situation looks like. I mean, look at Jeff Metcalf. He wasn't with his quote unquote baby mama, was he? No. You know what I'm saying? They were divorced. So what is he talking about? Like the hypocritical people, man. Torian says, so by this logic, if the roles were reversed, that means the father of a Black child who loses his life to one of them then can come online and spew the same rhetoric back with no pushback, right? Exactly, bro. But you already know these other type folks, they'll put a cape on for this. You know what I'm saying? Just because they already understand, like when we're looking at it from like a real perspective, like okay, like I said, like a lot of us would feel better if the case was actually done in a fair way. But at every turn, like this man mentioned, like the video I played at the very beginning, let me bring that video back up for y'all. But at the very beginning, because he's from Texas, all right? And he made a very good breakdown of it. So let me bring him back up and I'm gonna let him break it down.
Chase him. Carmelo Anthony had been white. Not only would he have not been convicted, there had never been charges.
His name is Texas Schroeder. All right. And like I mentioned, this dude has been getting unalive threats because of this specific video. It went viral on TikTok. You know what I mean? Because he's a big, Texas heavy hitter out there. You know what I mean? He talks about a lot of these cases and stuff, and obviously it's very clear what happened. And at every turn, like I mentioned, now there's more and more of these witnesses who have come out, who have seen the video footage that they're not showing to the jurors. And then they're telling people that there was a different setup than what the actual jury had saw when they were looking at this case. So now the ball's starting to roll for Carmelo. And of course, they're going to feel some type of way about that. You know what I'm saying? Well, salute to Tori. He says, I guess the hit dog indeed did holler. Yeah, man. And like I said, it's reaching to the mainstream now to where Elon Musk is coming out here asking for the tape footage. Okay. Why does he want to see it all of a sudden when he was one of the main proponents to try to talk down on Carmelo? You feel me?
So, Texas Paul, hope your coffee's as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. I really do. Whole thing was a goddamn tragedy, and it was started by the kid that died. But if Carmelo Anthony had been white and the other kid had been black, these same people that are calling Carmelo Anthony a murderer would be celebrating him all over social media.
That's why they talk about Daniel Penny, right? Daniel Penny. Everybody brings him up because he administered lethal force to a man with mental health issues, right? And they considered him a hero, right? He's a hero for what he did, right? With lethal force. But Carmelo is considered a murderer? Like, come on, man. What are we talking about? Salute to Unspoken. She says the racist want to be so right when that video and all the witnesses says it was self-defense. Yes, and he also said that he was being surrounded, all right? There were people coming from different directions, all right? It wasn't just one person. So now that all these videos have the actual real account, now Elon Musk is saying, hold up, I want to see the video now. I want to see the video. Oh, now you want to see the video, dog? Nah, hold up. Free Carmelo, homie. What we talking about, man? Salute to Tori. He says they are scared that tape is going to go against the narrative they've been pushing for over a year. Yeah, and that's all I said. I just said, let's just wait for the facts. Like, I don't care about your, like, views. Let the facts come out and let's use every single video that they had. And then I heard once we got to move carefully here. But once them people got them phones from everybody who was a part of that track meet, we already knew there was going to be some compromising going on, man. And obviously, there are witnesses now who said that there was an alternate video that showed exactly in 4K. So now, all right, bet. Now we got something here, right? But the fact that they didn't show that initially, come on, man. We that's a mistrial, y'all. Come on. At least let them get a fair trial. That's a mistrial off top. Like, nah, we gotta hold up. We just at least gotta run that back because that already proves it off rip. If there was an alternate video that the people who were at the jury, they only saw one account of that. Come on, man. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here, y'all. What we talking about, man? Let me read these chats real quick because y'all going crazy in the chat. Salute to y'all. All right. Hold up. Yeah, man. All right. Yep. All right. So salute to Unspoken. She says he couldn't even say Austin's name. Yeah, man. Right. Exactly. Unspoken again is back in the chat. She says that's how irrelevant Austin is. Everyone is talking about Carmelo. Like I said, the lack of even saying Austin's name shows how important Carmelo is. Yeah. And the rumors, they can't get past that. They can't get past the accounts that Austin and his brother were a part of bullying. Okay. They had multiple fights that they were getting into. So this is documented. So a lot of that reputation is not going to leave you. And there's also the account from the track coach who already made it clear that they weren't even doing what they were supposed to on the track and field. All right. that they were about to get kicked off the track team because of their lack of performance. Okay, this is what happens sometimes. If you ain't living up to what you're supposed to be doing as an athlete, you get kicked off of teams. That's just facts. And especially in Texas, where sports are religion. Okay. And if you ever play high level sports like I have, or people who have, you know what I'm saying, play sports when they grew up, you know what that is. You already know how hard it is to get on teams and make sure that you're a factor on a team. So the fact of the matter is, when the coach is already texting them saying, hey, you guys need to get your stuff together, you're not doing what you're supposed to. You got Carmelo, who's a captain of the track team. All right. He didn't even have to run because that was JV. All right. He was helping the junior varsity. All right. He runs varsity. It's not the same. If you understand sports, like I said, like they're not even on the same level. Like Carmelo's a varsity athlete. And that's just facts. Okay. He was a captain of the football team and a captain on the track team and a 3.7 GPA student. All right. So we don't have to keep going back and forth about this. Y'all just mad because you can't look at Carmelo as just the stereotype. All right. Carmelo had a future. All right. He had a purpose for being there. His friend invited him underneath the tent. I don't know how that's so hard to understand. Okay. His friend, the Para kid, invited him over. Okay. He thought they was boys because obviously they had hung out. All right. It happens. If you've ever ran track, you understand. You being at a track meet, there's going to be people from multiple schools. And if you're a real athlete, you're going to have friends on different teams. That's how this works. But a lot of y'all didn't play sports growing up. A lot of y'all, it's just keep it a buck. You feel me? A lot of y'all didn't do that. So you don't understand even track culture. You know what I mean? And that's a part of it. That's why people are trying to be like, no, you can't be under the tent. It's like, how, bro? A lot of these people, they have multiple friends that play on different teams. And especially if you've ever been at an AAU level or you've grown up, you might have been on the same team at one point going from Pop Warner all the way up to high school, right? Once you get to high school, obviously you're going to go to wherever the opportunities are going to get you, right? Like out here, right? I went to a very prominent school for football and track because I was a good athlete at that. My parents wanted me to go there. It's a great school, easy. But some people don't understand that because they've never ran sports. They've never been in sports. You feel me? Y'all going crazy in the chat. Torian says, if the tape aligned with the sentencing and verdict, we would have seen that tape in 4K. Yeah, man, straight up. Because how many videos we be seeing right here on YouTube where they be having, you feel me, the body cam footage and everything is in, perfect condition. You can see it. Carmelo, they said that they have their phones out, man. There were kids out there recording what happened. And mind you, the video that they had showed, even from that they said it was from a top view. The lady says that the kids were coming at Carmelo, all right, in a downward position. Carmelo was still sitting down. Come on, man. What we talking about? Y'all going crazy in the chat. Salute to y'all. All right, salute to Unspoken. Yeah, man. Yeah, they don't get it, man. They're behind because, like I mentioned, if we're gonna really be our logical, if we're gonna use our logical minds, right? We're really gonna think, okay? If we're really just gonna take time to think, you could really see what the outcome was, right? Carmelo had already made it clear that his intent was not to harm him in a deadly manner, right? But it happens. Okay, boom, it happens, whatever. But now you guys are trying to set him up for 35. That's insane. No, we ain't going for that. Retrial. We need a new jury. We need to run that back because y'all playing games, man. That's not how we do it around here. You're supposed to be a fair trial. That's all we're looking for, man. The racists have come on my post saying I'm defending a murderer. LOL. They really feel like Carmelo intentionally unalived him, and it's low-key funny. Yeah, man, because like I mentioned, they have a very weird obsession with muddying Carmelo's name, right? Because Carmelo had such a good reputation, right? Carmelo was a good athlete. He was a good student, right? There were stories of him saving people in a pool when he was a young kid. You know what I'm saying? He had a good reputation up until this specific incident. So they want to do anything they can to muddy up his reputation by making it seem like this was intentional, when, like Unspoken said, we all know that this was not intentional. He was showing remorse. He said he took accountability for what he did. Listen, manslaughter, if manslaughter, then fine, give him manslaughter. But to give him M1, 35 years is insane. That's not right. It's not right. I don't care how y'all look at it. Whatever you want to say, I don't care. That's not right. 35 years is absolutely insane. Like, you guys are tripping, man. Yeah, man, they're haters. You feel me? It's real talk. They want to make him something he is not. Facts. And this will be the egg on their face and make them look stupid, jumping on people's page. Yeah, you saw. I mean, if y'all go look, y'all could go look. This is what they do. They don't come in the chat to try to, speak for themselves. I dropped the link for anybody to come up. They don't come up, but then they wait for the comment section after the post, and then they just flood my comment section. You guys seen all them racists in my comments? I had over 200 comments full of racists talking crazy to me about that last video when I had my boy Torian, my homegirl Unspoken up here. We was cooking them. And they in my comments talking about, you guys are so intelligent. How could you guys even think that this even makes sense? You feel me? Talking reckless in the comments. I'm like, you guys literally wait until the comments. You guys had your opportunity to come up here and speak for yourselves. And y'all hiding in the comments with y'all fake accounts. You feel me? Nah, we don't take that serious. If you got something to say, I'll drop the link. Hop in this chat right now and we could talk about it. But at the end of the day, like we just broke it down, man, any way you look at it, if this role was reversed, if Carmelo was a Metcalf and a Metcalf was Carmelo, okay, it would be a different story, man. All right? Straight up, y'all know that. And y'all didn't say nothing when Daniel Penny was choking out a dude with mental health issues. Y'all didn't say nothing. Y'all said he was a hero. Okay? That's what y'all said, man. Y'all said that, man. We seen what y'all did, man. Y'all took up for that, man. And we watched it. We had to take it. Whatever. Okay, cool. Y'all let George Zimmerman sell the pow that he used to unalive Trayvon Martin. Y'all did that. Y'all bought that merch. Y'all did a Trayvon Martin challenge. And we supposed to be some type of way for what happened to Austin? We saw what y'all did with George Floyd. Candace Owens went on a world tour talking about George Floyd. Y'all think we forgot about that? People was hitting the streets behind George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. Okay? Straight up, man. It was going down. Yeah, that's facts. Austin would have walked if it was Carmelo. That's facts, man. We already know that. And you know what? It would have been multiple. You feel me? If they're saying what those videos showed, which was it was a 4-on-1, Carmelo would have got rolled up in them bleachers by himself because he thought he was with his homie, but his homie was actually an op. He thought he had a friend in there, but nah, they was about to roll up on Carmelo. Carmelo bagged out, sitting down. He said, he said, hey, get up off me, man. They didn't believe him. And then, hey, man, you put your hands on me. You can't dictate how I react, man. Straight up. It was a fake little tool. Y'all want to get mad? That's fine. But if you're going to get mad, tell me why you're mad when you're not mad about what Daniel Penny did. Okay? Straight up, man. Yeah, he feared for his life. Straight up. There was a group of men who were 200 pounds in his face. Y'all see how they daddy is, all right? Hold up. Let me just make sure you guys can remember who they daddy is.
You have embarrassed your own culture and race. Don't get me wrong. We got a lot of people that embarrass me too. But you guys, you got a patent on that. And the only people that's going to change it are you. Don't blame the white person because we can't change it. But you're going to blame the white person for everything else. I'm going to tell you right now. Charleston White, you think you're funny? We'll see who's laughing. Drew Anthony, you're a and a coward, and you raised one. Kayla, you drunk. What'd you do to that boy to make him stab somebody? My God, what kind of mother are you? Hey, Kevin Hayes, you fucking liar. Day after it happened, how many lies did you sit and type up on your keyboard, you big keyboard warrior? You a big tough man. You still live in Baton Rouge?
All right. This is the daddy, all right? The disrespectful daddy. You know what I mean? So what did you think his sons was? What would you think? How would you think his sons would be in front of Carmelo? You know what I'm saying? Young Carmelo got it going on. Like they mentioned, pictures now are circulating of Carmelo's girlfriend and Carmelo. It's a small town, right? And Para was his friend, and they used to go on double dates. You know, it's a lot of undertones here. It's a lot of jealousy, a lot of I'm hearing and seeing stuff. You feel me? And it's very interesting. You know what I'm saying? It's very interesting how, like I mentioned, Carmelo is everything that the Metcalfs wish that they were. Straight up. The Metcalfs wish they was the captains of the football team. They wish they was the captains of the track team. They wish they had a 3.7 GPA. They wish they had a father and mother who were still in the home. They wish their parents were still together, don't they? You know how kids get when people get divorced and all that, nah? Snake tongue, talking sideways, yeah, then trying to self-deprecate at the same time. Act he is not the snake he is. Yeah, man, it's always behind free speech, right? Oh, I can say whatever I want. I'm just saying the truth, man. I'm just saying the truth. Like, okay, bro, well, how can you say that then and you're still living the life that you live and obviously you're drunk, okay? Inebriated on the internet, going live, talking crazy about people. Like, what are you doing, bro? Grow up, man. Hope his girlfriend is speaking. I saw her pic. I'm seeing she ain't nothing. She was never really with him. Yeah, man. I think that's what we're looking at. You know, it's gonna get tricky out here because, like I said, yeah, all that details are starting to come out now. You know what I mean? I think the relationship between him and the Para kid really, I think, flipped the case on its head because they tried to put him on the stand and make it seem like they weren't friends. And the defense didn't hold him accountable enough to the lies and the pictures and the overwhelming evidence that showed that they were actually homies. You know what I'm saying? But I think this is a life lesson that, you know, unfortunately, Carmelo got to understand is like, you know, all your, you know, some of your friends really ain't your friends. You know what I mean? He had to learn the hard way, though. You know? Salute to Tori. He says, Carmelo may go scorch earth when he get out. Yeah, man. I think the young brother he's gonna be understanding of the system, and I think he definitely is gonna know a lot more about himself than I think anything could ever teach. You know what I mean? Because this is a crazy situation, and I think it's really showing a lot of people's true colors. You know what I mean? A lot of people who are in these spaces Y'all be seeing them, man. You talked about them, Andre Williams and all these other cats, man, out here tap dancing and doing the most. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna get bad for them, man, because like it never works out. These people, you'll never work out bootlicking. You feel me? It never works out for you. Like even in historical references, you guys will always be the first to be taken out because you can't be trusted on either side. You have no home, and nobody trusts a renegade. That might go over a lot of y'all head, but a lot you can't. Nobody trusts a renegade. Nobody. You gotta know where your alliances are. You gotta know who you are. You gotta understand and have pride in who you are. You feel me? Don't get caught up in the false propaganda. And obviously, what you're saying is a lie, and that's why you get deplatformed, and that's why you can't be out here doing inflammatory things to Black folks. Like Torian mentioned, like it's like a reverse chud. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all antagonizing Black folks, thinking that it's gonna equate to something other than you having to protect yourself, you having to, move around with security all the time and not being able to be a free person because you're not equating this to real life. And I think that's the key here, man. It's like people really get this internet stuff messed up. Like it's not people real lives. Like obviously we see, the videos and all this stuff, but this is people real lives. Like Carmelo is really locked up right now. You know what I mean? Like think about his parents. Like they are really hurt right now. Like the system, everything failed them. They hired this lawyer. He was terrible. You know what I mean? People questioning their parenting. You got the father of the son who lost his life antagonizing people. And these are real people. You feel me? These is real people. Like we could assess it from the outside lens and converse about it and talk about it, but these is real people lives. And the fact that you got people who is playing with that, i.e. Charleston White, you're playing with people's lives and you're playing with the public and you're disparaging people's reputation. Stuff like this, man, this is something that I don't necessarily like to divulge into because now we're getting into very, very dark energy. Now we're playing with the weight of what this is, which is somebody's real life. You know what I mean? Like we speak and raise awareness for this because it's needed. You know what I mean? We need to bring justice for Carmelo because what we saw was all a system at work for them. And it's going to inspire us to speak out against it because it's important. But when people start to insert themselves into things where it's actual people's real lives and Carmelo needs to be aligned with the correct people at all times in this space, it's not good energy to play with that. You know what I'm saying? If y'all know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. I'm a believer. I believe in the Most High, and I totally understand the laws of what you do when you partake in somebody's demise. If you believe in karma, right, then you believe that there is somebody who controls it all. And I'm looking at this from the outside perspective, and I'm looking at people who are moving, how they're moving, and people are making opinions about this, and they don't even really know what happened. Yeah, I could bring some. I'm gonna drop the link right now. Actually, yeah, I didn't know if y'all wanted to come up tonight. If y'all want to come up, yeah, I'll drop the link right now. Let me do this real quick. Hold up. Let me drop the link. Yeah, if y'all want to come up, yeah, we could chop it up because I'm definitely seeing something going on. If y'all know what I'm saying. All right, there go the link right there. Yeah, there go the link. If anybody want to come up, feel free. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think I bet. I think I've really watched. Yeah, man. Salute to Devo. Yeah, a true one, man. I really do think that some people, like, I saw this interview from him, and I don't know how it came across my timeline, but it did. And he was talking, I think, to Say Cheese, and Say Cheese was asking him, is he a believer? And he said that he believes in money. Like, he don't believe in God no more. He just believes in money, and money is his God. So that was his words, right? And I found that to be a very interesting statement to say, but it definitely makes sense, you know? It definitely makes sense. Like, I really do understand sometimes, like, where it all comes from. I really do think this is all about money for him. This is all about getting paid. Hold on, let me bring you up and spoken. There we go. What up? You can take yourself off mute. What's good? What's good? Yeah, man. You know, I'm chilling in the crib. You know, I knew today that it was gonna be some dark energy, so I thought I'll go with the dark vibe tonight. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you, like, as far as, like, since everything has developed, right? I wanted to give it a couple of days right after the verdict, because we talked on the verdict day. So now I feel like this is all kind of new developments, right? So I wanted to ask you, with like all the new developments, right? With Jeff Metcalf coming out saying what he said, with Charleston White basically exposing himself, and you're also seeing now the Sambo content creators grifting. Like, what's your, like, vibe? What are you feeling from this right now?
I'm feeling like the appeal's gonna work. And he's definitely going to, he's not going to be in prison for 35 years.
I hear you.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I also have like some strong feelings about his parents. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like they're doing the best that they can, but I don't feel like mentally they have too much to offer. You know what I'm saying? And the more interviews I'm seeing with them, I'm realizing this. And I just feel like I wish that us as Black people would understand what we're individually not good at and seek out people who are good at that. So, for example, I'm looking at his parents in these interviews, things they really could have gone hard on, like, and I'm like, okay, if you know that you're not equipped for certain things, you need to reach out to the shooters. You need to reach out to Tamika Mallory, my son. You need to get some Chicago is in there. You need to get some LA mouthpieces, some New York hitters. Like, we all have each other in different states because we're all equally powerful in different ways, FBA. And I really wish we would understand that, right? And some of our folks in the South, they fear white people so much. And I see that in his parents. You know, I just got to be honest. And I'm just like, but you don't have to go it alone. Anthony's, y'all could have called on the hitters. But y'all are out here really just not, like, for instance, the even that lady in Chicago, and Texas, Dr. Matthews with the nails. I talked about her, but she's even a good mouthpiece. Like, they should have immediately had her, somebody loud and proud speaking. You know what I mean? Like, and I just feel like where they dropped the ball is when they said in the Breakfast Club interview, and I just got to hash on this because this is important for Black people to know. He said, we followed the rules. Number one, you never follow the rules because the rules are rigged in white supremacist Texas. So as soon as you know they were rigging it, and you can tell it's all white jury. And I think they were talking to Charleston White, the dad, which is the problem, because he was telling, I think, Carmelo's dad, it's going to be okay. These white people are going to do right by you. Am I wrong? Did he say that? Because I think insanity. Like, Charleston White is a crackhead. I'm sorry. Like, I can't believe he told these people that this white jury's going to do right by them in Texas.
I
You know what
really
I'm saying?
think that Charleston just has like this part where he really wants to insert himself into these situations. And like I mentioned, like this ain't content. Like this is some real stuff. Like we don't need no content creators around like real families who are really trying to figure this out. Like you mentioned, like the parents, yeah, they got some stuff they have to really lock in on. And we don't need people distracting like Charleston White doing what he does, which is just to distract and destroy, in my opinion.
And so here's my point, because I don't want people to feel like I'm like talking about them in a negative way, but I'm being honest as a Black person, especially from LA, and you know how we get, and I lived in New York before, just like I'm so used to turn up Black folks. I'm not used to docile, submissive, follow the rule Black people. And so when I hear a Black person say we just follow the rules, that's number one problem. You don't follow the rules because the rules are I'm white and I say so. So you don't follow those rules, guys. And this is what they did. The judge put a gag order, and the Metcalf family had a white female talking piece doing all their dirty work for them online. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the Anthonys had nobody. So how come we just found out later that this kid saved people? Carmelo saved people. How come we're finding this out later? Like they should have went. What they don't understand, and again, I really think this is because they live in a majority white place and they live in high fear of white people. And I understand they're in high fear of white people, but you can't live amongst people that you're afraid of. And that's my point. If you're really that afraid of these people when this goes down, it's a ding ding. You shouldn't be around these people then, because what happens is if you do speak out and if you do go hard, you're afraid they're gonna blow up your house, because they probably will. But long story short, it's like, Black folks, when you have situations like this, if it's a Black person and a white person, it's always about race, number one. Number two, they're going to go on a mass smear campaign against you, the same way they kept only showing Carmelo's mugshot. They were very specific and very strategic about how they destroyed this child. This is what they do. You know what I'm saying? So we should have matched that energy, and we didn't. And this is what I'm saying. We did not match that energy, talking about his parents. And I get it. They don't know as much as, I'm not going to say they should know, but they're not equipped for this, but they should have found people that were equipped for this. And that's what I'm really mad about at this point. I mean, of course, the Jeff's going to do what he does. I'm happy he actually raged. That just proves our point. But anyways, I'm going to digress.
Hey, look, I think that's why, tonight, obviously, I came up, but I'm here to hear y'all, because like I mentioned, like right now at this point, I think Will A spoke on this, but it's he says, and they said it wasn't racial. Then from that rant from the father of the Metcalf kid, and now it's definitely sold on that it was a racial factor. And that's facts. Everybody remembers that in the very beginning, the father came out, said this wasn't about race. And the first thing he does when that gag order is lifted is goes on a completely racial rant. Like you can't make this up, y'all. Like honestly, like I'm not trying to make fun of this or whatever, but this is just like a real thing. Like it almost doesn't seem real, right? Because it's like, yo, these are people's real lives. But yo, the first thing this dude does is talk about black men ain't got no fathers, to a kid who had his, and you're actually not in your kid's life though. Hold up. Yeah, whoever else want to go. Lynn, what's up, man? How you doing, man? I'm sorry.
Hey, you did that. You said that last part. You said that last part. Comparing the father situations of both of the boys in this situation. And one thing that I want to focus on immediately is the fact that Carmelo is a boy. He is a boy. He is a child. And, I know a lot of people are going to come out here and they're going to try to adultify him like they do with all Black kids and, all this other stuff. But, like, it's crazy seeing that. Can I say coon? I said it last time. I know you don't do cursing on your channel. I know that's not cursing. I know that's not cursing.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad one.
Yeah, to see what you call it. I think there was this Black guy who was a coon. He looked like he was from outside of the country, to be quite honest with you. And he did also look like he might have been a little slow. And I think that might be why they were able to use him to do what he, they had him out here doing, which was he was speaking in favor of, we're speaking against the Carmelo Anthony case in favor of Jake Lang, the guy who's tied up with that whole Chud, the builder situation. And he went over there. I think he actually went up to the court and threatened Carmelo Anthony, I think. And that's why he's in jail presently for the second time. So first he was in jail because of the other case with Chud. Now he's in jail because of this case with Carmelo. So
he said that they should lynch him. That's what he said, Jared Lang.
That's what he said. That's what the threat was. See, this is what I'm saying. I haven't really been able to keep up with this because I've been super busy and I have a whole bunch of due dates for tomorrow and today. But what you call it? It's just ridiculous to me. Like, I mean, I really concur. No, I agree 100% with what you said about the parents unspoken. I don't. I know you didn't say anything negative about them in particular. You were just upset and you expressed that. And I feel the same way because at the end of the day, it's exactly like what you said. You have to know what you're good at. You got to know who needs to be in certain positions. When I was going through at my university, my former university, I had a local NAACP come in and represent me at one of my hearings. So, this is the kind of Adolphus Pruitt. So this is the kind of stuff that you need to be doing. You need to be getting people who are meant to work in those fields because he found a whole bunch of things in that case I wouldn't even thought about, So he was like, wait, but you all are saying this, that, and the third. That's what we need. When I saw that Black woman get up there, I don't know her name, Dr. What's her name, with the cowboy hat? You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, Matthews. Yeah, I think Matthews, yeah.
Oh my goodness. The woman who pulled out the briefcase and she started talking about the sexual charges. The sexual charges.
She having the belt of justice on their ass. She bringing that belt.
She is my favorite. Like, I'm loving her. I'm loving
she's fire. And she's real. She's like a real activist. So that's what's even better. Like,
I was really wary about her in the beginning because I was like, I don't know, this might be another performative person. But over the years, I've seen her put her money where her mouth is over and over again. And she's just consistently doing it. And that is a good example of like who we need on these cases. We need to know when we need to reach out and speak to other people. My mother was the mayor of Kinloch in Missouri, which is one of the oldest Black cities in Missouri. And she was beaten by her own police. The city was so corrupt. How you the mayor and you command the police and you beaten by the police? It was a big story, but they tried to cover it up and all this other stuff. There was a lawsuit, but this is the type of stuff. So, I mean, it's just like this country is built against us. Let me end this with Charleston motherfucking White.
Excuse me. Watch that MF, please, ma'am. Thank you. I'm so sorry. But yes, continue.
It's ridiculous. I'm so sick of seeing, maybe I shouldn't even talk about it because I don't know if I can.
Because this is what we talking about. Because obviously that's the connection, right? Is the fact that the parents allowed Charleston to get close to them, and obviously, I've always had a side eye for Charleston. You know what I mean? Yes. But at the end of the day, like when this started to happen, that's why I thought it was very important for me just to continue to remember and make it clear to the people that like. This is real talk. Like these are people's real families. Like people are really, making a push to help Carmelo. And the fact that you're trying to align with them and then you're sabotaging that, bro, that's foul. That's foul, bro. That's foul. Like I don't care how that sounds. You know what I mean?
It's some snake ass shit. That's what I'm saying. That was what I was going to end with because I'm just like, because I could go on for days, but this is a problem we have. We are consistently touting and putting up these and supporting these people who are the worst for our community. I'm going to say it right now. Kai Cenat, what is going on? He's not even, number one, he's not even foundational. Okay, so that's number one. And a lot of the time they will, and the problem that we have with this is that if you're on board with our rights, if you're not coming to this country to usurp and supplant us, then that's not a problem. We have no problem. We came up with, people always want to talk about this anti-African, we're so anti-African. Baby, we made entire holidays rooted in Africanness. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? We made entire holidays as foundational Black Americans that don't come from Africa. The holidays that what was it, Kwanzaa? That doesn't come from Africa. That was something that we made. Right. So, these are things that we're doing to acknowledge our history. My aunt, like I said, I'm foundational Black American through and through. My aunt, who is the same, she ran Mabili Watoto, which is Swahili for the name of the school that she ran. And she taught me, and she taught so many other people in conjunction with the Demetrius Johnson Foundation. She was really close with him before he passed recently for decades. And she taught Black history through her programs and through her school and all this other stuff. And she was one of the first experiences I had to really get in tune with our history and to know these things and to know about our connections to Africa. So I hate when people say that we're so anti-African, we're pro-African, and we made it so that y'all could even come here. But my problem is we have a lot of these people who we're touting, who we're looking up to, who are not the people we should be looking up to people like you, Brandon. We should be looking up.
We're anti-tether. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Like we just, I have nothing. I have no problem. Like I always have my homeboy Derek up here. He's one of my best friends. We grew up together. He's Nigerian. You feel me? We talk about this all the time. And he's not sensitive. And that's the point, is like there's a lot of sensitivity going around here on these internet streets. It's unfortunate, obviously, because if you're putting yourself out here on the public space, don't get mad when people respond. That's all it is. Most of the time when we see this, is always just us responding. Like you say something about Black Americans, we respond. Now y'all all mad. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, tomorrow I'm gonna go live and we're gonna talk about this Asian blackout. Okay, not a boycott, a blackout. And I got some numbers that we're gonna talk about when it comes to just the economic power that just Black Americans hold when we look at it from a financial standpoint, and that shift of wealth that will be put back into our community just from us investing in one another. All right, we're gonna go in tomorrow about that. We're gonna do some numbers on that, because obviously that's a part of this, is the fact that we seeing all these things are starting to connect. More of this anti-Black rhetoric that's starting to permeate within the culture. Mm-hmm. And it's necessary for people who have platforms. You know what I'm saying? Like I always talk about this. Like I used to watch Torian's channel, and Torian be smashing the gas on these racists. Like, and so it's just one of those things, like more of these platforms that are now starting to come out and actually speak and debunk these anti-Black rhetoric. That's what it is, because the news, we can't trust the news no more. Everything on the news is biased against us. Now we just witnessed an entire system that was biased against a child for defending himself against a bully, not one, not two, but four.
But they always do this to us, and they've always done this to us. And that's why I'm not surprised. I know a few of you all have been like, it's a little unreal, but it's not even unreal to me, because it's like all of it. Life is just like unreal. So unreal that it's real to me. But what do you call it? I did want to end it with, just a few more of these names. Kevin Hart. We just had that big situation with him. I made a video about him through my actual channel, Lens Bins, that talks about, politics. This Kevin Hart, Charleston White, Kai Cenat, all these different people who we're touting and we're putting up here, and then we end up surprised. Ooh, what's his name? Just a day ago, he just cooned and buffooned again on the ESPN channel. What's his name?
A. Smith.
Oh, I thought you said Loghorn Foghorn. Look, this man is consistently cooning and buffooning, and he has the audacity to talk about other people. It's ridiculous. And he sat here and completely talked all this shit about Carmelo, adultified him. He's a Black man, and he's gonna sit here and adultify a Black boy and make him out and put him up against a white boy. So Metcalf can be a boy, and he has to be what? A grown man? So it's just like people like this, we keep having these people in these positions of power. And I know white people want them in those places, so it makes it easier for them to get there. But it's also us giving them these spaces. And it's not just Black people we give it to. Vlad TV, all this other stuff. We're doing too much. I'm going to end it there because I could go on for days.
No, I think that's really good. I think that the Coons, they're going to dismantle them soon. And everybody who loves Candace Owens, just think about this. Candace Owens has said nothing about Carmelo Anthony. And if this was one of her biracial sons that was railroaded, she'd be having a lot to say. Okay. But she thinks that her biracial son's going to live a white life because she's got money and she tap dances and sells out to white people. So she thinks she's always going to be good with white people, but she doesn't know what's coming down the pike for herself. Okay. And all these like, what else? The thing that the UFC fighter just said about Michelle Obama, she's not going to say anything about that. She has not ever said that Michelle Obama's a man because she knows that's not true. But she's not going to come out against what the UFC fighter said because it goes against white supremacy, which is what she stands for, which is what pays her bills. So again, Candace Owens, we can just pointing her out for a minute, because I always talk about her, like some stuff that she says is on point, but understand that she is compromised completely. Even when she's saying something that's right, she's still compromised, and never forget that. She does not support a Black people. She's really Caribbean, of Caribbean descent. She even said before, she does not talk about Rihanna or Nicki Minaj because they're of Caribbean descent. So she's just a complete sellout. So just remember that with everything that she says. And all these people, they're going to be dismantled, because really white supremacists hate them more than they hate the Malcolm X type. They actually love the Malcolm X type. That's the truth. They hate the Coons even worse because they're sellouts. You know what I'm saying? But secretly, they're loving Malcolm X.
Oh yeah. No, I said the same thing. People don't understand how little respect you get when you play those roles, because they know that you're useless at this point. There's nothing real that's going to come from you, because you'll just go with the flow. But the people who they hate the most, there's a little bit of admiration there. That's what leads you to have that passion to hate somebody in the first place, which is why I try to be careful about who I say I hate and stuff like that. But yeah, I forgot the other thing I was going to say.
Yeah, but going back to Carmelo's family for a minute, though, what I mean is, like, for example, there's a picture that I posted on my community post of Carmelo smiling. He's got a beautiful smile, actually. Never seen it. Why am I only seeing pictures of this young man smiling after he's got 35 years? And that's what I mean. Black people, we are the most influential people in America. We create a new word every 5 seconds. Everything that white people say and do and wear basically comes from us. You watch them, and within 5 minutes, they're saying a word that we said, or doing something that we do, or emulating us. Why in the hell did they outsmear us? Like, how? This is what I'm saying. Well, we need to know, okay, me and my wife, we're not good at this. Let's go reach out to some radical so they can do what it do. Like, we need people who are going to match this energy. Here are all the good pictures of him smiling with babies. Here's all the news articles, anything positive he ever did. Like, they really, and I have to say this because I need Black people to understand that are listening to this, when things like this go down, you have to launch that rocket. You cannot be docile about this. You have to go into full, like, Game of Thrones mode. Do you understand? This is war. Don't you understand? They launched a cyber war immediately. Megyn Kelly.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go on.
Actually, you just right when I got you caught me at a right point. You want to know why? You know why they're so, like, why that other group is able to do that? Because that's all they know how to do is chaos and destruction. It's literally second nature to them. We as Black people don't know how to create chaos and destroy something, because that's literally something we've never done. So that would be all new to us. So if we do it, we'll probably like, oh my God, did we just do that? Like, we would be like, okay, yeah, that happened. Okay, what's the next step?
We're builders.
Them going to conquer and destroy. That is literally like them putting their underwear, well, for those of them who do, put their underwear on one leg at a time. So that's why it's easy for them. It's like, it's nothing. That's why whenever we bring up about, when they always like to bring up Black on Black crime, they always like to bring that up, and we always come back at them and say, well, y'all the ones that took over whole nations, y'all pillaged, y'all destroyed, and they'd be like, yeah, but Black on Black crime. Like, see how easy they're able to brush that over? They can easily brush that over, because war and destruction and chaos is literally second nature to them. They've been doing this for hundreds of years. When you want to know what quote unquote white culture is, there it is, and then some.
That's a
say
point.
it.
That's a point.
This is 100%. This is 100%. I say this all the time. People always say, "Oh, black people this, black people that." Even if you look at the crime statistics today, the most recent FBI crime statistics puts them as the most violent. They are in the most violent categories. The only thing that we have them beat in is just by a few, like 100 people, is murder. That is it. So it's like, at the end of the day, I mean, when we're looking at rape, when we're looking at pedophilia, sex crimes, all of these other things, that is all them. So it's
But
ridiculous.
I will say this, we know how to fight. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we cannot make excuses for, we know how to fight. That's why we even had a civil rights movement. That's how we got as far as we got. Like, we know how to fight, and we roast better than anybody. I think Brandon talked about that before. Like, listen, we know how to do this. And this is what I'm saying. If you personally, as a black person, are ill-equipped for this, go find another black person that is, because baby, we are in 50 states, and every FBA in a different state offers something that another one may not. We are all we need. Everything we need, we've got somewhere from some black person.
I did want to say reparations. I know that is something that I'm working on. We know it's not going to come tomorrow. But I love what we're doing with the Asian, focusing on black businesses. I really appreciate that, because I think that's another way that we can get closer to that goal. Yeah, right. Because I think that is really one of the biggest things that I've been looking forward to reparations for is education. And I think that that's one of our biggest problems, because when I look at people talking about this case, constantly I see people describing it in ways that are untrue, not factual, saying horrible things that are incriminating and aggravating the criminal charges of Carmelo and making him out to look all kinds of crazy. Even Cyrus, they keep saying that he tried to steal a bottle of water. He didn't steal anything, just like Latasha didn't steal anything. So it's like, this is what we have to know. We have to be reading, not Toni Morrison, but we also need to be reading, because Toni Morrison will tell you not to argue with these white people and with these racists, because that's their game. Toni Morrison, I forget exactly what the quote is, but one of the my favorite quotes from her is that the whole game of white supremacy is to have you explain yourself and to take up all of your time. Someone says that you have no history, you show them all your kingdoms. Somebody shows or tells you that you are ugly, and you tell them how beautiful your lineage is, and your hair and your skin and all this other stuff, and you research it, and you spend all this time doing all these things to build yourself up with all this research when you already know these things. And
energy harvesting. That's what they're trying to do to us.
That's what it is. It's vampiric. They're keeping you from doing what you need to be doing.
This is why I said, and I really, hopefully, high level, intelligent thinking people that are listening to this understand where I'm going with the critical thinking mind, like Brandon, like Tori, and like you, Lynn. How could we have made this better? And that's why I'm talking to the parents. So if they hear this, understand, again, how could we, like I said, why am I just now seeing a picture of him smiling? Like, come on, y'all. You should have already known they were going to judicially lynch your child. It's Texas. That's the reason why we have Juneteenth. We have Juneteenth. Slavery ended in 1863. Slavery didn't end in Texas till 1865. They had to literally bring 9,000 soldiers, Union soldiers down there, many of them black, because Texas whites would not let their blacks, they would not free their slaves. This is Texas we're dealing with. So this is what I'm saying. You need to know your enemy. Like, stop acting like we don't know that when they're fixing to rig the game. And Brandon, I sent you an email of a guy, he looks Cajun, but he was talking about he knows a lot of the dirt from on that judge, and that he's getting ready to expose them.
Yeah, I definitely as well. I follow obviously like a couple of different channels, and there's a few of those really like interesting crime channels, like true crime and stuff like that. And I saw a lot of the rumors, like you said, like multiple people who could corroborate the fact that there was a lot of connections behind the scenes that would essentially really, really look good for Carmelo, you know what I'm saying? At least help him get a much fairer trial than obviously what we just witnessed here, in the last couple of weeks. But I think it's been very interesting to kind of see, like I mentioned, how many people have not only had something to say, but in the vitriol that they've given. Like, I told you, was it you who was talking about Jamel Hill?
Oh yes, today.
Yeah, man. When I tell you she made me so upset, bro. Like I don't know what it is, man, but like you mentioned, it was maybe because the way that she came through the sports sector for a lot of us who watch sports is like, all right, like she seemed cool. And then the fact that she did the change up and then now just to be bug dancing the way that she is, bro, is it's
Oh
insane,
yeah,
bro.
they
What she do
cooked
this
her in her
time?
comments.
What she do this time?
I'll let
She basic
Torian.
she basically like did made a video and she put it up. I guess it looked like it was probably from like a video or maybe a live stream she did, and she was speaking about the Carmelo Anthony case. Basically, to summarize that, she tried to do the whole turn the other cheek type of thing here, and I'm like, that is not the time nor the place to give that type of so-called advice, especially coming from her, because I will never forget how a few years ago the Root, or as Professor Black Truth calls it, the Rot, put out this article where they were saying black men were the white men of the black community, and she reposted it or retweeted it on her Twitter account, basically in agreement with it. And I'll never forget when she did that.
Yeah, no, I think I might have seen the first few minutes of that recent episode about Carmelo, and I didn't like the way that she was talking in the beginning. It seemed like she was going too light, and not even 2 minutes into it, I just said, I can't do this right now.
Yeah, I was the same way.
Yeah, I think a lot of us obviously were caught off guard. And then, like I mentioned, like within clockwork, as soon as they lifted that pass for him not having to be able to say how he really felt,
Oh yeah,
bro, he wasted no time.
they
And
said
I
that
think,
live was actually. They said that live was like hours long.
yeah, they
It was.
said
They
it's
said it
at
was a
least
very
three
long
hours.
Hours.
live.
3
3
hours.
hour live, bro, of him saying disparaging things. Like he mentioned, like he said he felt good. He said, I owe it to myself. Like what? Like this is how they think, bro. Like I've never been that upset with white folks, bro, to where it was like when I'm upset, I feel entitled to say terrible fake lies about them, and it makes me feel good, bro.
Watermelon felon, he said.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
but you trying to
And he
tell us
felt.
that you ain't racist. You didn't
that
become
part.
super racist that quick after the trial, after the gag order was lifted. You didn't that's always been within you.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the fact that you got some idiots out here that think that this is just how he started to feel. Are you serious? I got
Bro.
a bridge in San Francisco to sell you for free if you
Bro,
believe
and
that's
then
how he actually just now started feeling like
yeah,
that.
and this black fatigue stuff, bro. I swear,
Mm-hmm.
bro. Like these people exhaust me, bro. Like
That's what black fatigue
I
is.
have fatigue from these people, bro. Because
That's
it's
literally what it
insane how they
is.
try to talk about black fatigue. Yeah, I believe in it. Like, bro, you don't even know where that comes from,
Hello.
They
You
don't
used
even
it
hang
correctly.
around black people. That's the crazy part. They don't even
bro.
don't even know one black person, except maybe the person
Literally,
that also maybe you know what they do. It's the one that probably cleans their house.
I was just gonna say, or it's a Sambo, one of the two. It
Right.
really is. It's the one that they pat on the head like a dog. Okay,
Exactly.
whether that's literally or figuratively, because y'all know how white boys play. If you don't set a standard and a certain stature with them, they'll try to, little bro you, put their arm around you, all that other stuff, bro. Like, don't play with me like that, dog. Don't touch me. Like, nah, bro. They be on that.
Probably didn't even bathe that day. You can put
That
your
part,
nasty,
man. So,
clammy hands on me.
bro, that's why they put their hands on Carmelo. They think that that's cool. That's okay. Or I could, I'll get up out of here, bro. And Carmelo said, nah, bro, not today. Not today, bro. Sorry. For all the people that I'm
But
sure that the Austin Metcalf twins have been terrorizing up to that point, this is what happens sometimes in life. Sometimes the bully gets bullied.
you
All
want to know
right.
what's so crazy? What's like what anniversary is coming up next month, right?
Hmm.
The Bama brawl.
No, that was in August, but yeah, that's coming up too. That was in August. August the 5th.
Man.
but not the anniversary of what Michael Johnson did.
Mm.
The one down
Yeah.
there in Texas.
Yeah, I remember that. Let me put that up.
He had that Texas police department shook, and the
I
fact
remember
of the
that.
matter.
That's what you were talking about.
And the
Yeah,
fact
he
of the
was.
matter is that happened during a protest, so it's like that was like the perfect move for him to actually do what he did in the midst of all of that going on. So it's like they was scrambling for him, and you know what's so crazy? They had to use a robotic bomb to take him out. Something I had never heard of before.
OJ
Wasn't that the dude
anniversary.
who was like ambushing the whole precinct or the whole force, and he was like hiding behind pillars and taking people out?
He was doing his thing.
Oh yeah, he was going. Oh yeah, because he had a military background, so he knew how to maneuver and do all.
Yeah, he was military trained, and he was not mess. But I mean, that was the same thing. You know, we've seen multiple accounts, which is like you mentioned, like they go right under the radar. But yeah, he did his thing.
Now this Charleston situation is really upsetting me though, because I don't. I mean, on one hand, I'm like, okay, why did the parents even believe that this man?
Yeah, that was kind of weird to me.
Was anybody who they should be talking to? And then on the Charleston side of things, I knew he was a coon, but to go to this length, to go to this level, to be this deceitful and to take a family's pain for their son that they're trying to fight for, and something that means this much to the Black community because of the type of case that he is, and to do this, to literally sabotage them, because the problem that I'm having is you can't even lie to me and tell me that this was not intentional, that he didn't intend for all of the things that happened, Carmela to go to jail for 35 years, this money to be wasted, his advice to be null and void, talking about these white people are going to do right by him, all this other bullshit, or excuse me, all this other bullspit, you know, all this, you know, people, him doing all of those things like that, you can't even tell me that that wasn't intentional, because you've cooned and buffooned for so long in certain ways that it's like, I can't even believe that this was anything other than intentional, especially with how intelligent you've proven yourself to be over the years, with the ways that you get Black people in trouble and the ways that you do things, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think obviously your reputation precedes you. And that's as well, you know, certain messaging that I'm always trying to use on my channel, because obviously, you know, I have fun, you know, we come on the internet, we expose what we got to expose, and we use our media to raise awareness and put a light on things that a lot of people ain't talking about. But it's like once certain people have gotten on these platforms and they start getting money and they start being attached to more of those darker energies and trying to make sure their name stays relevant and the clout that comes behind that. Like I told y'all, I seen multiple videos where Charleston White talks about that money is his God and he has no morals. So yeah, y'all right. The parents should have done that.
At least he being honest, because some can't even do that.
That part.
Even though we can clearly see what their end game is.
Yeah, and that's why we got to start taking people at face value as Black folks. We got to stop playing this, oh, he says cool things today, and then the other day he says something crazy. Like, no, like at the end of the day, he told y'all who he was. We cannot take this man seriously no more. All right, put him to the side. On to the next, you know, objective that we should be focused on. You feel me? Like, Carmelo justice, you know?
It's a lot of anti-Blackness in our own community. That's the only thing that I can say to explain why you would look up to a Charleston Wright, a Candace Owens, like you said, Tyron, or Taryn, or anything like that. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, Candace Owens, oh, okay, yeah, she's got some good takes. What are you talking about? When that woman went over to Germany and opened her mouth and said that Hitler was completely all right, he just tried to go global, and that was his problem. I was like, are you serious? Like, aren't you the same?
That's Olympic level cooning right there. That's just next level. Like, it gets no more treacherous than that.
What are you talking about? They killed Black people over there too. So it's just crazy. And then what do you call it? This is the same girl who, well, at the time, you know, now woman, who was you know, supported by the NAACP in her case. So, and she was going through racism and discrimination. So that's why when old girl earlier, Unspoken, she was saying something about how Candace thinks that she is good with these white people and all this. I really don't think she does. I think she wants to be, and I think that she keeps that door open, but I think that she's too intelligent to really believe to be on some Stacey Dash shit stuff. Oh my goodness.
Man, these people were in 100-year wars before they even understood that there was melanated people that descended from what they call Africa. Okay? This is facts. Over 3.5 million of them killing each other. And they want to talk about us and what happened to Austin Metcalf. These people don't even understand their own history. And that's why sometimes I get so frustrated with this, because we understand history. We don't get on here just talking. You know what I'm saying? I've read books that a lot of people wouldn't even think about. You know what I'm saying? Just because understanding will help you understand, all right, cool, like this is the history of these people.
Yep.
3.5 million, and y'all want to talk about black folks? You got black fatigue?
And the thing is, it's so many stories out there, recent ones, that the media does not push out there about them folks. That's exactly why I'm glad I have a Discord where people be sending all types of stories. And let me tell you, that's why I had to create a Patreon, because it is so many wild stories involving the stuff and the behavior that they involve themselves in, that I know for a fact that I know it would get demonetized when I put it on here. That's why I had to put it on my Patreon behind a paywall, because those stories are so disturbing. Like, they will make your head spin. But for people like us who are well aware of who we're dealing with, none of what they do surprises us. However, while it doesn't surprise us, it is also going to disgust you, because we dabble in true humanity. That which they deal with over there, that's just straight up savagery. I actually did. I put it like this. I'll tell y'all one story I did. That I posted up on my Patreon like last week. There was this guy who has had a daughter. I had to put it like that. Probably not even a year old. He ended up taking his daughter's life by taking the pacifier and shoving it down her throat to the point where she choked to death, because he couldn't get any sleep. Because she kept crying.
Ridiculous.
Rest in peace to that young soul. Like, straight up, rest in peace. Like, and I think, it's very wild, like you mentioned. Like, we even have to think about censoring ourselves on a platform that should be talking about this all the time.
All the time.
You feel what I'm saying? What is that? You know what I mean? What is that? Like, how is that even like supposed to make us feel positive about understanding what the media does then? Right? Like they don't understand that as well as the same algorithm that's running experiments, we're watching the same thing. We can see the numbers and metrics too. So we can pay attention and say, oh, why is this story getting less views? And this is actually like should be the number one story in the entire nation right now. And why is everybody talking about Carmelo all of a sudden after the fact when he's already been convicted of 35 years?
And like I just said, what are you hiding? What's going on behind the scenes?
Straight up. Now he didn't have a good lawyer. Where was y'all at when his parents needed him to get one? Straight up.
Go ahead.
But I'm just saying, like, I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing a lot of people complaining, and it's like, yo, like, y'all got to understand that this was already happening. Where was y'all? This is a year-old story. He got out on bail. It should have been people doing what they supposed to be doing in the community. If that's what we're talking about, right? If everybody talking about decisions that was made, then where was everybody at?
The only black person that was attached initially that did something like right for him that the community got behind was that black female judge that was presiding over when he first got arrested.
Facts.
Like she was the one that reduced his bond, and then she let him go and basically be on house arrest.
And that's why she got
into hiding, bro, because they were threatening her life, bro. They were threatening her life. They were threatening her kids' school. She had to take her kids out of school, bro. It was deep, man. And that's the point. That's why a lot of these people was playing, bro, with this Texas.
And that's why they had to make sure, because they saw the writing on the wall with what she was doing right there, and that was before a trial date was even set. They said,
That
no,
part.
we are not about to let another black judge come in with that same mindset and preside over this case. Nope, we're going to insert this shady judge with the shady jury. We're going to move it to this county, and that, I think that's what set the precedent right there. That's what made them scared, was that move right there, because in their eyes, they thought that, oh, she's going to be on code with us, and she's going to make him rot in that prison or in that jail until it's time for him to go to trial. No, she said, no, I'm reducing the bond. I'm letting him be on house arrest. And then what made them even more mad, when they kept hearing stories about him graduating from high school. Why are they letting this killer graduate from high school? And then him getting accepted into college. Why is this school accepting him into college and he's getting all these scholarships? I mean, they were so, I remember the hit pieces and everything people were saying online when all of that was happening last year.
They was talking a lot of them. I seen them too, Tori, and a lot of them influencers, man, were over there making a big deal about it, upset because Carmelo was able to get his diploma and he was able to apply to go to college, got into college. And I'm gonna be real, I hope that the young brother takes classes while he in there. I hope while he's in there, he get his mind right, he put his head in them books, and he prepares himself. You know what I'm saying? Because he cannot waste any time right now. You know what I mean? He can't sit back being sad about what could have happened. Like, nah, bro, lock in. And the people are doing what we can out here, and we hope for the best, because obviously we don't know what's gonna happen, but he has to make the most of this, because obviously they're doing everything they can to make sure that he doesn't. You feel me?
I do want to mention as well what you were saying earlier about the algorithms. So I took a statistics class and in college, and I learned about data missingness. And that is a major problem that's leading to a lot of these racial issues. So it occurs, it's literally what it sounds like, data missingness. It's data that's missing from our population, our demographic, and other demographics that they don't want to get this data from. So like, let's say it's environmental data about what kind of pollutants are in a specific area and all this other stuff. They won't get a lot of that for Black areas, or they'll get false information for Black areas, which will lead to them thinking that they can put certain facilities that are already major pollutants in these Black areas, and then continue to environmentally trespass against us in racist ways, and commit environmentally racist crimes, like what's going on in Memphis right now with the data centers that they're putting up that are polluting the area. But it's just crazy, because it's just like, you know, when you look at it, a lot of this stuff happens because these people who are creating these technologies and this artificial intelligence are mostly white. They're in these white enclaves. They're mostly richer individuals, and they have that entirely different perspective. So they're putting that into their work. They're programming these systems. And one thing that I've been writing about in school, because it's very important, is this very issue. Because we have, just the same way that this country, a lot of the structures and infrastructure that was made was by white people. This is the same thing that's happening with artificial intelligence and with the internet and all of these advances, the advent of AI, except the difference is that this entire platform is created by them. The entire virtual world is literally being run and created by them. And we're going to a virtual world almost completely, if not completely. So that's a problem, because whereas on Earth, we have certain natural things that happen in nature. They can't always control when a tornado hits or where it hits, or, who's affected by this and that. There are a lot of things. And then we also are connected with the land. If you believe in certain spiritual things and ancestors, there are a lot of things that we can do to mitigate a lot of stuff that happens on Earth. But virtually, we don't have that. So I don't want to just leave us with, oh, I'm complaining about this. I want to wrap it up by saying, we need to be getting more Black people, especially with this AI. Use it to your advantage. Learn coding. Learn how to code. Learn how to make your own video games. Learn how to do something fun. Learn how to make your own. I'm making a platform right now called NewTube, and it is basically going to be a platform for people to be able to, upload their content. And it's not going to be built on these bad algorithms that feed you the worst stuff all the time, like, other platforms. It's going to be based on that. So, we need to be doing things like that so that we can get our infrastructure in certain places, and so that we can have people who know about these things so that they can combat these and speak in these rooms and combat a lot of this institutional and virtual racism. Because if we don't have people in the room who are speaking on our behalf, then this whole world is going to be built and we're just going to be put in it.
Yeah, I think right now that's important, right? Because we're talking about not only just what we're going through at Carmelo, but obviously what happened with Rick Choi. And obviously with Rick Choi, that sparks all of the data that you had experienced in the past when you're going through things with Latasha Harlins and what happened to her right here in LA. And so then everybody starts to take all that data, collect it, and they're saying, man, like, we're supporting these businesses. We are supporting a system. And at every turn, we're the ones who take the L, right? You feel me? And unfortunately, you know what I mean? Our young boys are not only losing their life by them being attacked, but at the same time, if they defend themselves, they could also be put underneath the prison for defending themselves. That's where we at right now. That's what they're trying to send. These are the coded messages, right?
Wow,
so
rewriting the rules as they go along.
That's why
I said we as Black people, we got to pay attention to every time something like this happens. Pay attention when it happens to them and pay attention closely to how they deal with it. That way, if they be hypocritical about it, and they will, we can point back to this one, and they gonna switch it again, because I mean habitual goalpost movements. That thing ain't even embedded into the ground. It's loose enough where they can carry it and on their back and move it from one part of the field to the next. Too, they might take it off the field and put it in no man's land somewhere.
Look, this is why I want to talk about this. Let me put this up for y'all. Look at this, right? The power and the potential of the black dollar. This is what's going to be the next thing, right? Once we start taking our money out of these businesses, all these little Chinese businesses, all these little Indian businesses, all that stuff, right? And we start putting it back into the black community. That's a transfer of around 1.6 to 1.7 trillion dollars back into our own community. Just Black America, standing above all these other countries alone.
Wow. And were those
talks about Black Wall Street and all this other stuff. We can make it happen if we really choose to stand on business and start making sacrifices like y'all talked about.
And also too on like I noticed on TikTok lately, ever since what happened with that verdict with Rick Child and people in the Asian community coming out and saying what they were saying against us when people were saying that they wanted to boycott Asian businesses and like focus on our own. On TikTok lately, especially today, I don't know what it was about today. Every time I opened it up, it was highlighting a different Black-owned business. I literally saw a video on TikTok today that put a smile across my face, where it was a Black-owned nail shop. Like all the owner was a Black woman, all the workers were Black women, all the women in the chair were Black, and they were and I don't know if for some reason it almost looks like they choreographed that video, because it's like all of them were moving in unison, and it's like, but it was really nice to see though, and it looked like a very nice, peaceful, serene type of place, to the point where I would probably just go up in there just to stand there. Like, oh my God! Like it's like it looked real nice in there. It looked clean, and that's another thing that a lot of people have been saying when they complain about with some of these Asian businesses. They are not clean. I will never forget when I was an undergrad, when I was in college back in my freshman year back in 2007. And we used to see all these stray cats just running around the campus. I came back in my sophomore year in 2008, and all them stray cats was gone. Mind you, it was a Chinese carryout across the street from the campus, and it was going right down the street. I said they waited for us to leave, and so we didn't see them going out there with their meat cleavers and running down them stray cats. And
look, man, this is why, it's like you mentioned, like it's one of those things, like, sure, we could definitely stay on a certain path, or now it's time to stand on business. And I the same. I've been seeing a lot of content creators using their platforms to show and highlight Black American businesses that they could do as alternatives, right, to funnel the dollars back into our community, right?
And what we're looking at here is this all. I know Black America is at the top. Are all of those other Black as well, or is that just their entire nation?
This is Mexico as an entire nation. Okay,
wow.
Mexico as an entire nation is only generating 1.5 in spending. Okay, wow. That's according to, right, the data is from the United States. Right, so this is all real stuff. You know what I mean? I'm taking time with this one, but this is something that I think when you look at, when people talk about the wealth disparity and where that money can go, we are in the top if we just continue to funnel that money right back into our community. Obviously, like you said, like choosing to go to these salons and these spas where you'll actually get better service. It's gonna, and look, this is one thing as well they're gonna do. You know for a fact they're gonna force and make sure that everybody in there has their certification.
I remember.
Okay, because they don't be doing that at some of these other businesses. You can't tell me that some of these masseuse, these massage parlors, they ain't getting no certification to be no. Come on, man. They not doing that.
If you want to call it a massage parlor, it's
that part. you know the coded language, Torian. You know that.
we know what it really is. But
look, I'm gonna speak on that just real quick, right? If we're gonna talk about it just real quick, I'm gonna give y'all some game right here. Okay, so obviously, you know, I'm in the West Coast or whatever, and if you look at where I'm at, in Long Beach is very close to Orange County, right? And Orange County has a high density of Asian people, okay? And guess where there's a high density of these type of salons and massage parlors?
Well, guess where the red light district is?
Okay, look. And just recently, all right, you know, the Ice Babies came along here. And let's say a lot of them vans was there for a lot of trafficking activities. Right?
It's funny too, because I actually went out to LA for the first time back in 2022, and I had stayed in East Pasadena. It is nothing but Asians over there. That is literally Asian territory over there. That is all you were going to see in East Pasadena is Asians.
Wow. Yep. And you know, I want to say real quick, just so we can have a little bit of history of the solidarity that we used to have with, and a lot of people still do have with the Asian community, just so that we can dispel a lot of these rumors about us being anti-Black, even though we know what they're trying to say with that. We know they don't believe that, or excuse me, of us being anti-Asian.
Yep.
But what do you call it? I don't know if you know about the history of the chiropractic history, the acupunctural history between the Black community and the Chinese community in particular, back in the 70s and 80s. But back in the 70s and 80s, in particular on the East Coast, in I think New York, New Jersey area, there was a big movement where Black people were actually, a lot of activists in the community and just a lot of Black people, regulars, were moving over to China for a few months, studying under the tutelage of Chinese doctors, learning acupuncture. And they were bringing that back to the East Coast into Black communities in the hood. And they were healing a lot of people. They were getting a lot of people off of drugs. They were revitalizing their community, getting people hired in the medical facility where they were practicing. And it was really revitalizing the community. It was bringing money into the community. It was bringing health. It was getting people out of their ruts of addiction and all kinds of things. And there was a huge standoff with the government. The government shut the facility down, all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. But it's just like things like this. You can look into it. This is real history. I actually schooled my one of my professors on this. She was my professor in international studies. And I wanted to let her know about that history and everything as well. And she was like, "Oh my goodness, thank you. I didn't know anything about this." But yeah, it's just crazy because it's just like, even how Black people, as usual, saved white people in America back in the 80s and 70s when it comes to the Blaxploitation kung fu films, and how we were bringing those into the genre and keeping Hollywood alive with a lot of that. Like, this is something that I learned about recently, and I've been looking into it as well, because I'm like, okay, wait, I don't remember who told me that, but somebody told me that, and I've been looking into it ever since. I'm like, are you serious? Then I ended up getting on a sidetrack because I started looking into Shingon, because I know I've got Shingon, and I was like, okay, wait, this is what this is called? Okay, this is why I can fight. Nah, I'm playing.
No, yeah, I agree. I think our crossovers, like we always talk about, right? One of the first students that were to the tutelage of Bruce Lee, right? Because I've studied martial arts myself. Obviously, Bruce Lee's first students were Black Americans, and he talks about this very extensively, right? And I think our adjacency to these communities, we all grew up with Asian homies or somebody close to you who's Asian. One of my best friends, he's Cambodian, right? So I think that's why, at least from us, we are giving such a real account, because this is not something that's new, right? Even if we go to the imagery, right? We look at Boys in the Hood, right? And we talk about Menace to Society and all these influential movies, right? What are some of the most iconic scenes in those movies? Them being inside of an Asian, a liquor store, right? Inside the liquor store, right? It's a very pivotal scene in both of the movies. Like, it's just a part of the culture where if you grew up in the Black community, most times those stores were Asian owned. So, of course, yes, now, like, we've spent so many years, right, adjacent to them, patronizing their businesses, patronizing their food establishments. Okay, happens one time. All right, boom. The young lady loses her life. We make an uproar. There's the LA riots, and I can speak about this because I was here. All right. My house at the time, we lived almost down the street from Long Beach Boulevard, where the entire street was on fire. All right. This was a pivotal time in LA, and like, it was scary. You feel me? Especially as a kid. I was a kid at this time. So it was a scary scene. And that was all because of her and the Rodney King beating, right? Remember Rodney King? Can we all just get along? Yeah. We was really in LA during this time. It was scary out here. The gangs was outside. People was getting, there was looting, obviously. But then at the same time, white folks was getting rolled on. All right. It was a pivotal point in them videos about that time where they pulled a truck driver out and literally did work to that man, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? But that's how bad it was. That's how upset people were. So naturally, this happens now again to Carmine Belton. He loses his life in the same exact scenario. Yeah. People now trying to redirect that money. Nah, bro, we can't just keep patronizing y'all businesses, and this is what the outcome could be. What if I have a son and he want to go and he doing something he probably shouldn't be doing? Okay, cool, but he don't deserve to die regardless. Y'all got to do better. And if we telling y'all don't want to listen, then we gonna take our money elsewhere, because I'm gonna bring it back up. We have $1.7 trillion in spending power. So you want to play games? Cool. We can take that money and put it back into the community where it needs to be from the jump. Straight up. And look, whatever they got to say, you can be mad, fine. But if y'all don't do nothing about these store owners who be tripping on us when we inside the store, when we just trying to buy something, nah, bro, don't follow me around. I got enough money to buy this whole fucking store. Excuse my language.
And look who the government, speaking of trillions, look at who the government just made a trillionaire.
Man.
Of all people.
And how many grants a lot of these people was given to open these businesses in our community for less money. All right. They're getting Oh
since
yeah,
the
you got people to
60s.
grant because you're an immigrant. So instead of paying the whole rent, we'll subsidize it. And then we'll give you actually subsidies on that. So now you're paying half of the rent for a business that you're literally making overkill. And as well, you're killing the community with terrible products, alcohol, and cheap. Man,
And
come
bad
on, man.
and all that MSG.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that really upset me. That really upset me seeing the Cyrus case, and the immediate thing that I thought about when I learned about the water bottle, I'm like, are you freaking serious? Like, this is literally, and then I learned about her, like, you know, the wife following him around the store. I was like, this is literally don't be a menace. Like, what are you talking about?
Like I mentioned, like these
I
were
grew up with
pivotal
this
parts
movie.
about showing Black American culture. A part of Black American culture is going inside a store and somebody following you around. What a crazy, what a crazy stereotype. How exhausting is it? Like, yo, y'all really still following us around in stores, man?
Yeah,
it's 2026. Like, what?
No, you want to know what when I really noticed when the veil was lifted when it came to the Asian community, with how they all came out after what happened to Akai Gurley in New York. That's when Akai Gurley, he was the one that was shot in the stairwell in New York by this Asian cop named Peter Lee Yang. And he went to trial. He was going to trial and everything. They was prepared to find that man guilty. All of a sudden, you had so many. I never seen so many Asians in my life literally come out across the country, not just in New York, but the entire country of the U.S. It's like every Asian came out to try to say that he deserved a fair trial and everything. He was going to get a fair trial, but he was going to get found guilty. But with all that pressure for them, they ended up finding him not guilty. And the attorney that was representing him was a Black attorney, and man, Black Americans was on his head about that, because you literally had the case right there and you fumbled because you caved to them. Anyway, nature got a hold of him, because a few months later he ended up dying from cancer.
Oh, the cop or the attorney?
No, the attorney.
Oh,
most anybody involved in all these people are going to die from cancer. I hate to say this, but like, God never forgets. Like this is why I always tell folks, listen, if you don't get got in the physical world, you will get got in the spiritual world. Don't just mark my skin of bronze, hair of lamb's wool. Black Jesus gonna get you.
Nah, and that's facts. I mean, and same with LeVar says, they get food stamps. Yeah. And you know, over here we talked about all that, you know, the Somali fraud, not only them, but other companies and people using certain food stamps and other subsidies that they love to talk about. They're using that to scam, bro.
And notice the terminology, you just said it, subsidies. I always say, when it comes to
I make sure to use that word.
Is welfare and food stamps. And speaking of welfare and food
free
stamps
money
and welfare, when are they gonna finally get Brett Favre?
Man,
for what he did.
Millions.
And we know what he did. Took all that money from the people that needed it to build his daughter a $5 million volleyball facility that he could have paid for himself.
Bro, this is the type of
that's how they get rich, though. That's how they get rich. They keep their money and they hoard their money, and then they come after the government for more free money, and then they tell poor people that the money that you're getting that's free, it's not the same as the money that we're getting that's free, so you're bad.
Listen, this is a corrupt system that was never built for us. Straight up, y'all. Like, this is why I feel like it's so important for what's happening right now with the blackout. I'm not talking about just boycotting. We got to start changing our mentality right now with this, because it's very important. Like, this type of stuff, this is what we're capable of if we really, really lock in. And it's something that we all got to make sure that we stay pressed on, because that's why they're so upset. Have you ever seen somebody so upset about investing in yourself?
Well, because
I mean, they literally.
I mean, back to y'all.
No, I was saying they was literally about to try to say that we, as black people, was being anti-Asian because we saying we are not patronizing their businesses at the moment.
Meanwhile, they changed affirmative action. Meanwhile, they have an anti-Asian hate bill. They have an anti-hate bill. When we gonna get the anti-black hate crime bill? They got an anti-hate Asian bill. Come on, man. What's up? What we talking
they've
about?
allowed their illusion of a buffer class status to make them believe that they are accepted by white people in America. And we're talking about Asian Americans. We're not talking about people in Asian countries. This has nothing to do with y'all. If you hear this y'all doing you and keep doing y'all. We're talking about the Asian Americans. They are under an illusion that they are better than black people because they've been put into this buffer class status and they've been allowed, keyword, allowed to come up, allowed to have their Chinatowns, allowed to have their Korean towns, allowed to have their Japan towns, and respect. But understand, you've been allowed to do that. You've been allowed to put your businesses in black neighborhoods, and we have patronized you, even though you abuse us. But Brandon's right. The time has come when black people have to really stop patronizing Asian businesses that disrespect us. Listen, I'm not going to tell you. There's some Asian business right now in San Francisco, and Brandon, you know what I'm talking about because San Fran got a different level of people up there. There's some business in San Fran right now that's Asian, that's hella cool, that's very mixed, that's probably really cool. If you got a business like that and you're in Oakland with real Asian folks that, you know what I'm saying, they was in the Black Panthers, like they get down, I'm not going to tell you to boycott that, but you know who you need to boycott, which is 90% of their businesses. You know what you need to do, and not temporarily, permanently. And this goes for black women. Lynn, you know what I mean? Because sisters will be out there at the nail salons they will be giving all their money to Asians, knowing that they don't like them, knowing that they disrespect them. And white women don't have a beauty supply. That is insulting if y'all really think about it. So you're supplying our beauty.
Our beauty. Don't they have Sally's though? Isn't that for them, or is that for?
Correct, it is. But Sally's, there again, the fact that they're naming it beauty supply is because they're supplying our beauty, implying that black women don't have beauty unless Asians supply it. Check that.
that part.
What are we talking about? So see, follow me. We bought into this illusion, and because of white supremacy, and because a lot of times black women can't operate in certain spaces without looking a certain way. That's a part of it. But also another part of it is what you choose. You understand what I'm saying? So it's, we gotta balance that.
I will never forget a few years ago where there was this video that went viral of this. I guess it was a daughter and a mother, and it might have been the daughter's, the mother's granddaughter, which was her daughter's daughter, and they went to I guess like a beauty supply store or something like that, and I guess the Asian owner or whoever worked there had tried to accuse them of stealing or something like that, which is something they love to do so they can prepare to lock them doors and put hands on them. But this happened outside the store. This man went in on the grandmother so much, he had her leaking. Like, I mean, he was beating on her like she was another dude on the street. I mean, her face was leaking, and it went viral. And I remember when, like, what happened after it. You had a lot of people saw that and told people, do not go to this store. How about maybe a day or two later, that same store and that same guy put up a whole sale sign up on the window to convince women to come back to that store after what he did. And guess what? A line was wrapped around the block of women going to that store. And it was black men, older black men that was out there trying to tell them women, do not go in the store. You had one of them young girls up there cussing at these men like that was her baby daddy that was behind on his child support.
Because there's no ethics with some black women, and we gotta be honest about that. There's no ethics. It's all about what I want. I want to look good. I need this hair. I need these lashes. I need these nails. We gotta stop that, yo. That's killing you.
Because look, I showed you guys the graphic, right, with the 15 trillion up here, right? I showed you that, right? Okay. So like I told y'all, probably tomorrow I'm probably gonna do a live about this, but I got it broken down. I also have a breakdown of how that money is spent, right? Because the devil is always in the details, right? So I was like, I wonder how much that's divvied up into what we talking about right now, right? So they're telling me the numbers that came back, that almost 85% of what is spent on that budget that we just talked about, of that 15 trillion, goes to ethnic hair and beauty ads.
Bingo.
So how powerful, right, is that when we telling Black women specifically, because this is what the numbers tell us. The numbers tell us that you guys spend the most on hair and beauty ads, right?
And that's
so if that's the case, imagine we take all that back. How much more money that puts in your pocket, not just me, okay, or the economy, but just you funneling it back into, you know, a Black beauty supply store, or a Black nail salon, or a Black esthetician. You feel me?
And you can get a lot of this hair product, you can get that online. So like you could find a Black business online, order that to your house, and then you ain't even got to worry about transportation and constantly having to go to these places and deal with these attitudes. But yeah, what do you call it? Another thing, even though what you're saying makes it so that this is kind of null and void, because it seems like all the money's in the beauty, but there is some.
It's broke down. I'm telling you, like they got it down to the fragrances, the hygiene products. You feel me? Toiletries. You know, it's broken down, like super broke down. But like the goal, in my opinion, is, especially y'all know who I do on my channel, like I always try to bring a level of like receipts and data that backs up certain things that we're looking at, right? And I always was from the school of thought where it was like, if you want to talk about a topic and in a way that's intelligent, you could explain it to a child, right? So if I was telling a child, hey man, you are worth this much money, how much of that money do you spend on this, right? Which would make sense, right? So it's like, how much money of that 15 trillion are we spending on specific things? And it comes down and it's broken down. It's like, damn, we're spending that much on hair and beauty. We got to definitely talk about that. Regardless of who you are, like that is literally like, I mean, you're saving money just considering maybe not using these products, maybe buying it from this person instead of that person, because if you buy it from that person, they might unalive you because they thought that you might steal it.
And see, I will say to that point, my hair didn't get this long by, you know, walking around with Peruvian and white people's weave in my head. So I did have to get natural. The longest that my hair started growing was when I was, and I don't mean just like braids, I mean like braids were good. I was mostly doing yarn braids, but it got to the point where my hair grew the most when I literally had nothing but my hair. Nothing but my hair. No extensions, nothing. And I was just like twisting my hair, and I was braiding my hair, and I was just doing all these cute little natural styles. So we really do need to just learn how to look at ourselves and see our beauty in a different way. Because it is so difficult for us as Black people, because especially as Black women, you see your face a whole nother way when your hair is straight versus when your hair is nappy, and you know, and I think nappy is a good word, so I'm still gonna use it. But it's when your hair is nappy and things like that, you feel a little bit different, especially when your hair is not long. It's difficult to see yourself as the same kind of beauty at first, because you are so caught up with this white form of beauty, or this, you know, Latin form of beauty, or whatever it is. But when you start to understand what you really hold and how you hold your beauty and how it holds a different way, it's a whole nother situation. But what I was going to say is I found this Black Chinese place. It's Black people, Black owned, Black operated. There were even white and Asian people and Black people as the customers, coming in as the customers and the clientele eating the food. But it was completely Black, and it's called Lefty's Fried Rice in St. Louis, Missouri, off of South Jefferson, 3000 South Jefferson. And I've been spreading the word about that. I made a few posts about that through my social media. So that's definitely really cool, because St. Louis has the best Chinese in the country. If you didn't know, you know, we came up, what is it? The Asian community here came up with St. Paul's and crab rangoon and wontons and all that good stuff. So I was like, I can't go without Chinese food. Hold on, let me find this Black place real quick.
Yeah, and
Right,
I think
and we can make Chinese.
there you go, right? Like it's just all about shifting your mentality.
Get you a wok.
Yeah,
I want to talk about
because Because let's keep it real. All this is first world problems.
Correct.
Okay? All these is luxuries that we talking about, stuff that we don't need. All right?
Right.
Straight up. Like, and if we're gonna really talk about us separating and doing our own thing, all right, we got to start making some sacrifices around here. Because if I'm paying attention to like I do, if y'all think this is just the beginning, you better start lining up everything that you know, because this system is about to fail. It's about to crash.
Oh yeah.
All right. So getting used to having your nails done all the time and having, a weave in your head, all this stuff, you might have to just go natural, because it ain't gonna be no money to be spending on going to a beauty shop.
Guess what?
It's true.
Listen, it's a reason why there's a phrase out there right now called 90s fine. And why that phrase applies to a lot of black women. I saw this video today when they did a compilation of 90s fine, and let me tell you, I felt like I was in heaven. I wanted to step into a time machine and go back to that time. But also, that's because that's when everyone was natural. You didn't have like the BBLs. You had women that probably put some like extra hair in their head, but it still looked natural. It actually looked like it was their hair. But but remember, at a time, there was a time where, remember online they had a whole natural movement. I love that era.
Yeah.
That was a wonderful era. I
Early
was so
2010s. I remember that.
I was so mad when that era fizzled out. I said, that era needs to come back quickly.
Yeah, one of my good friends, his wife, she became a huge influencer during that time, and she still does like natural hair content. But yeah, you're right. Like, I don't know as far as like what happened with that, but I'm just saying, like, when it comes to these type of things, now it's time to start thinking that way, right? Because there's already been all these stories and all these reports coming out that those wigs are literally toxic, that they're literally causing cancer.
Oh yeah, like them lace fronts and stuff.
Yes, all of that synthetic hair in general, right? And if you are still doing that knowingly that these people are willing to sell you your own unaliving, then that's a real conversation we got to have, because we trying to actually move forward, and we can't with you guys not thinking for your own long-term health, and also not only the health of yourself but your community, because you don't need that stuff. Like, you can find somebody else who's selling the same thing if it's really that bad for you and they black. Like, come on, y'all.
We don't want you out here developing alopecia,
man.
Oh my god. Oh, that's not funny. Sorry. I laugh at everything that's wrong. Okay. No, I wanted to say something that Lynn talked about that I thought was really powerful. And I appreciate, Lynn, you being vulnerable about that, about how you said, when the hair is straight, you feel more confident. I have a looser curl, as you can see in the picture. I've never had that feeling when my hair was straight. Like, I like when my hair is straight. Maybe I'll straighten it like once a year or whatever. But again, I'm a California person, and my aesthetic is very acceptable in California. And I know that. I didn't really grow up in a sense of like, oh, you have to straighten your hair. Like, my curl was more acceptable. And I understand that there's levels to the curl, and some curls are not as acceptable. So even when the natural movement was happening, I was like, listen, this is for the sisters, that this is my natural ain't your natural. And I get that. So I'm never going to come up here and be like, this is a different natural. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that needs to come back, and just the acceptance of self-love, because a lot of Black women have beautiful hair, and it doesn't have to be a loose curl. But I think it's just a mindset. And I think I don't fully, my personal opinion, I don't feel like this is 100% on Black men. A little bit on Black men, because obviously if you're promoting a certain type of look or a woman, yes, but more so it's about us and how we feel about ourselves. Because I feel like a lot of Black women, honestly, even if Black men were saying they wanted you natural, would they want themselves natural is the question. And I think that kind of deep thinking has to start. That type of deep introspection has to start happening with Black women. Is, like I said, they're supplying our beauty. And here's the thing, Asian Americans that are in this business, they fully understand. And I hope Black women don't take offense to this, but we got to keep it real about ourselves, right?
Real.
Asian Americans that are supplying our beauty, i.e. the beauty supply. Okay. They understand that there's a lot of Black women that are insecure about how they look. And they understand when they hit you with that sale, you're gonna be like, oh hell yeah, because I've been wanting this weave and I've been wanting this, da 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 da. And that's the problem. And that's not a Black male problem. I repeat, that's not a Black male problem. I'm not saying that there aren't Black men who are, prejudiced against certain kind of Black women. Absolutely there are. But on a whole, 100%, that is not a Black male problem. That's a Black female insecurity.
No, and definitely that's 100%. And that is why I brought up what I said earlier. I completely agree 100% with what you're saying, because that's why I said, a lot of women have this thing about like straight hair. When you grow up all your life believing that your hair is supposed to be straight, and like a woman is the most feminine when her hair is straight and flows down her back and all this other stuff, then, which is what most, millennials and older grew up with, then you internalize that. So even though you do have Black men, or you have the entire population of white people and every other race talking shit about your hair, and it's not all Black men, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying some Black men, even though you do have some people who prefer you or a certain way or whatever the case may be, it becomes, like you said, an internal problem, because it's all about what you're going to do at the end of the day. You've got to be the one to live your life, and you've got to be the one to see the beauty in yourself. And that's why I ended it with, you have to see your beauty in a different way. You have to learn how you hold your beauty. Your beauty is held a different way. Like as a Black woman, you look totally different than anybody else. And that is why you don't look bad with an afro and everybody else does.
And one thing I've said too is that Black women have some of the most versatile hair ever. Y'all can wear it in so many styles and it will look good all the time. I was watching a video one day, and I'm sure Lynn and Unspoken have heard this before. Brandon probably heard this as well. I'm sure if you are just Black in general, you probably heard it, but Black women have heard this phrase: the shrinkage is real. Have y'all seen the videos where you see a woman will have her natural hair like in a fro-like state on one side, and then when she blow dries it out on the other side, it's like always all the way down her back, and he's like, whoa,
the picture you're looking
all
at,
did that length come from? Like, what in the world
right
happened?
now that I have right now is that kind of a picture. If I turn to the right, if I could turn in my picture, you would see my whole other side of my head is nappy.
You be sitting there saying to yourself, like, how in the world did that? Because I remember one time that actually happened with me, because I had went and when I first started growing my hair and I got cornrows for the first time, the lady was worried that she couldn't do my hair because she was like, I don't know if you have enough hair. And then I said, turn that blow dryer on right quick and just go over just a fraction of my hair. She did that, and my hair literally went down to my shoulder, and she was shocked, like she could not believe it. I said, yeah. I said, yeah. I said, that's just how our hair works, and people are just amazed by it. That's why you got the people with the filthy fingers always want to be touching our hair, because they trying to get a feel
so
for it.
Weird.
That's why it's a lot of Asian people right now literally changing the texture of their hair.
Yes, so I've seen the videos. It's so weird.
Crazy. So they can do real dreads with their actual hair. It's crazy. But look,
the process that they got to go through to do it is crazy.
I just want to make, I don't think I have to clear anything up, but I just want to make certain, because I'm, a very honest person. I don't want people to be like, oh my gosh, here they are, the body snatchers. I am trans, so I just want to put that out there. Anybody who's listening to this, of course, I am a woman, so you address me, adequately, and these questions do apply to me, unspoken. But I just don't want people to think, oh, okay, she trans and she out here trying to act like she a real woman and all this other stuff. I am a real woman, but you'll see.
Wait, I'm confused. Who said what?
Oh no, just when you were saying earlier about addressing me as a woman and having these conversations with me, that you have absolutely correctly had those conversations with me, because I am a woman, but I'm a trans woman. So I just wanted to let the audience know that, so that if they do look at my page or something, because I do have it on my page. So if they look at my page and be like, oh, okay, she out here trying to pretend that she's a cisgender, biological woman or whatever the case is, But yeah, everything that you said does apply, still nonetheless. I just didn't want people to say, especially since we're talking about faces and we're talking about like, how women feel in certain ways. These are ways that trans women feel as well. But like, I just don't want people to think that I'm like thinking that the trans experience is exactly identical to the non-trans experience.
All right.
And the other thing I was going to say too is that my mom had this problem as well. Like she has very, like I have, I feel like just regular 4C hair. It's just like regularly nappy. It's very kinky. It'll get real tiny. But my mom, it's even more coarse and even more, coiled up. So she's personally, always, done a certain thing. And I've had conversations with her and I've been like, Mom, you just got to do certain things, got to do, look, this is what I'm doing. It's working. And, I think that she just has beat it into her head after all this time that, her hair is never going to grow. She don't need to do nothing else except put a wig on every day. So all that good stuff.
So, all right, cool. So, let's see here. Hold up. Put some stuff down real quick. All right. Okay. This.
Yeah, so I just hope that honestly this boycott of Asian businesses lasts, because at the end of the day, we've got to stop supporting people that do not support us, that are afraid of us. We got to stop living next to people also that do not support us, are afraid of us, where we have no protection. The theme in all of this that I hope that anybody that's listening to this really understands is that number one, we're all we have. Black people, we're all we have, regardless of where we're living or whatever our, particular status is, our orientation, any of that. We're all we have. Nobody else cares about us. That's just the facts. So moving forward, everything we do matters, right? Where we're spending our money, where we're choosing to live, all of these things matter. And I think we just have to start being more mindful and aware of like, well, who am I giving my money to? And how do I feel when I leave their business? How do I feel when I'm in their store? Right? Do I feel like they deserve my money today? Or do I just feel like I paid somebody to disrespect me? Do I just feel like I paid somebody who hates me? When I'm living in this neighborhood, do I feel like I'm living next to people that actually like me? If it were to go down in America right now, would my white neighbor really support me? We really have to start thinking that way, because unfortunately, again, there's a situation also that just happened where this white dude in Leesburg, Georgia, I don't know if you guys heard about this. He shot at a whole bunch of black people at a family reunion. Like, do you understand that these people are getting ready to destroy themselves, number one, because everything they're doing is international now. And that's what white supremacists don't realize. They're actually ushering in their own demise by showcasing all of their racism and flaring it up. That's actually so good for us. It's actually making our case for reparations. Thank you. Keep doing it, by the way, white supremacists. Keep doing it, because this is how we're going to get the bag. This is how we're going to get our reparations, because you just keep proving us right. Right. And it has to get really bad. And I think another thing, Black, and I know I'm all over the place, but Black folks have to start realizing it's going to get worse, and it needs to, because that's the only way we're going to get the reparations.
That
because
dude down there,
oh, sorry, go on.
Anyway, that dude down in Georgia, he must have got trained by some stormtroopers from Star Wars, because he didn't hit not one target. That's how bad his aim was, and he had an AR style weapon, so you would think that he would have hit at least one person. Well, thank God he didn't. But the vet who wasn't prepared got him, and mind you, the guy had armor on, and he was able to hit him. It's funny because of how the news reported it. They were saying, he had an AR style weapon. He pulled up to this family. It was a black family. He started yelling racial slurs. He started firing at him. Not one shot hit one person there. But then when they said one person was injured, I said, y'all can go ahead and say it. It was the shooter that was injured.
Right.
Like that's basically what happened. And now
the first part
about it is he was only charged with so far aggravated assault.
There you go.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? That was the first time I learned about the story, was when I saw that he was charged with aggravated assault. And I'm like, okay, wait, that's it? This is terroristic. This is attempted murder. This is like a hate crime. What are we talking about?
But they're legalizing open white supremacy and open attacks on Black people. That's why I'm saying, if you're Black and you're living in the suburbs, you are a soft target for racist white supremacists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that again. If you're Black and you're living in the suburbs and you're like one of the few Blacks, you are a soft target for white supremacists. And what they're going to do is start openly attacking you now because you have no protection. They're not riding into Atlanta, they'll die. They're not riding into Memphis, they'll die. They're not riding into Compton, which is half Hispanic, by the way, now, but they'll still die. You understand? They're not riding into the jungles. They're not riding into East New York. They're not riding into Detroit. They're not going into neighborhoods where we have numbers and we have crazy YNs that we also need to get a hold of. You know, we need to get control of them.
That's why Dylan Roof didn't go initially where he was going to go. Because remember, before he went to that church, he said he was going to go to a Black neighborhood, but he said, you know what? It's a good chance I'm not going to make it out. So I'm going to go to this church.
And again, what's the theme? The theme is that we're only protected in numbers. And I know that we feel like we're not because of Tulsa, Oklahoma and everything, but we are. Because I'm telling you, nobody's riding into Atlanta. That dude was he was in Leesburg, Georgia, where there's fewer Blacks. That's why he felt so comfortable, because the whole system is on his side in that small town. So understand, Black people moving into 2027, if you choose to live around white people, you could very well be a soft target. Just live that. Unbreathe, really fix your mind to understand that.
And your children, okay? And your children, all right? That is exactly what happened to Carmelo, okay?
Only help you so much.
Carmelo's family moved there thinking that this was going to be an upgrade, that they are going to be in a safe neighborhood. This would be good for his school. This would be good for his life, his future. He makes one mistake and runs into another kid who comes from a broken home, who doesn't value where he comes from, who doesn't care about the system, who feels entitled. And those two worlds collide. And now they're trying to tell us that the one who was actually defending himself was a premeditated murderer, man.
Exactly. I think that was the part that got me the most, was they actually convicted him of murder one.
Man.
I think that was the part that got me the most out of everything. Not saying I'm surprised by it, but still.
Yeah, it's insane, bro. And I think that's why a lot of us, we were all kind of making sure that we were watching what they were going to do, because we all got that feeling like, nah, something ain't right. Something's not making sense. And then obviously now with Jeff Metcalf showing or putting on the hood, for instance, you know what I'm saying? Putting on the hood and showing his allegiance to white supremacy, and the fact that he's now going to be able to make money for this and monetize from it. They're talking about he might walk away with $1 million off of this type of stuff. I believe it. Because like I said, we watched them let George Zimmerman sell a dang weapon that he used on a child. He made money off of that. Can you believe the sick individual that would buy something like that?
Yeah, that's.
Are you talking about Zimmerman?
Yeah, man. He sold the weapon that he used to unalive young Trayvon.
Yeah.
He
That's
sold
what I
it
thought
at an auction for undisclosed amount, but he's homeless now. So let me tell you how the ancestors work in mysterious ways. Okay,
it's ridiculous because my professor in one of my classes at this current institution, what do you call it? He was like in class, like basically like he was going hard on this point of how Trayvon Martin was depicted as this really, really young boy. They used pictures of him when he was so much younger, and some of the pictures were edited by the media, and the media lied to accuse the police and to make the police look culpable of, or not the police, Zimmerman look culpable of all of this other stuff. He was defending this guy like he was a police officer or something, and this dude wasn't even a police officer. And it was crazy because, you know, my professor is a police officer, a former police officer. And it was crazy because it was just like so upset. I had to let him know. I had to get on the microphone and let him know, look, and people in the class agreed with me as well. And they started bringing up Kendrick Lamar Johnson as well. But, and how that case is being reopened. But I said, well, you know, the media is the reason that a lot of you all don't know this case of Kendrick Lamar as well, or Kendrick Johnson, because this is what they usually do. They do usually operate in a
the kid that was rolled up in the mat.
Yes, and all his organs were stolen.
Man. Again, no protection. No, this is what happens. Yeah.
And it's exactly what happened. But it was just so upsetting to me because I was just sitting here like, we're literally watching the Carmelo Anthony case. We're watching them adultify this boy and make him out to be this horrible murderer who murdered a child when they both were the same age. So it's crazy. You would think that this was like some 30, 40-something-year-old man who murdered a 17-year-old. And it's just insane. And simultaneously, you want to sit here in this class and try to tell us the media wants to demonize the police? Stop it. You all get so much support. And that's what upset me because, like I said, he's a former officer. You all get so much support from the media, from the system, from all of this stuff, from the people. So many people who support you that you can't be honest about the fact that you get that support. You're going to sit here and really lie to us and act like you don't get 90-something% of the media working in your favor. That's crazy.
I just want people to know that it may look really bad, but this is all divine intervention because Black people, I got to bring us back because we like to wallow in victimhood and how we're being screwed over. But in reality, this is divine intervention because in order for white supremacy to fall, these people, the mask has to come off. It has to get so ugly. Like, I don't think y'all understand because they brainwashed and poisoned the whole world. So in order for us to rise up as, you know, the Most High's chosen, which we are, you know what I'm saying? They have to fall. And the only way they're going to fall is if the mask is taken off and they're really shown as a group, as the demonic entities as they are. Everybody believes that these people are great. Like, you know, they poisoned everybody, you know, with white supremacy. And they want to be like these people, but it has to get to a point where you don't want to be like these people anymore, where you see how racist they are and you can't deny it if you're African or you're Asian or you're Latino. Like, you really can't deny it anymore. So it's got to get worse. It's got to get worse, but just understand it's getting worse so that they can fall. They're not going to win this because the 400 years in the Bible is up.
Yeah, and I think that's why, you know, like Torian was talking about the situation in Texas, you know, it was kind of the same thing that happened over here with Chris Dorner, right, in the LAPD. And the story about why he went on that manhunt, right, and the fact that he was reporting corrupt cops, right? He was reporting them. He went to the right channels. He did it how the system said you're supposed to do it. If there's somebody using excessive force, I'm going to make sure that I report it because I don't want to be a part of that. He went and he did that, and then they turned on him. And obviously now, you feel me? We have people who, you know, don't trust the justice system anymore. And they just talked about that older lady who powed those two lawyers, right? Because of what they were doing to her mother.
Oh, I remember that too.
You know what I'm saying? About her putting her mother in this old folks home, and she was actually a very affluent Black American lady. And she was trying to go through all the channels, doing the right things, and these people were bullying her through litigation. And so
abuse of the court.
She lost it, right? And she did what she had to do. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is, you know?
But that's what they want. Yeah, they want us to go crazy. They want us to go crazy, but we have to go within. That's why I keep talking about the spiritual. We're not gonna win against people who are spiritually devoid, fighting their fight in the physical. That's all that white supremacists know how to do, is attack you physically, because they don't have the spiritual capabilities that Black Americans have. They're not spiritual people like we are. So when we keep what am I trying to say? When we keep rejecting who we are spiritually and we're fighting them in the flesh, this is why we're losing. So it's not just us using our critical thinking skills, it's getting aligned with the Most High God, who Jesus is black. And that's just what I'm going to say. And until I'm just going to keep shouting that, because I don't think we really understand. We're fighting people who can't fight. We're fighting them in a way that they win. We're not fighting them in the way that we can win. And I'm just going to keep saying that.
Definitely. And I just want to speak to kind of jumping off of what you just said, Brandon, about that case. Was it Michael Johnson you were talking about? Initially,
that was Texas. The
guy, yeah. That is exactly what I'm talking about, and that's why I think that it is important that we, recognize that we're not always, going to be at a point where we're like, we know all of the issues within our community, or we've even expressed all of the issues within our community. So it's nice to be able to express those and to speak to that, and that's not always. No fingers pointed, but that's not always complaining or wallowing or anything like that. A lot of the time, that's just getting a clear picture of the facts and the reality. And me personally, I like to almost always come with a solution after that. And I've done that throughout most of the conversation.
Yeah, we know what it is. Yeah, I think when I was like looking, at the contrast, right? And sometimes things change, whatever, but there was a lot of nuances that were just kind of being skipped over. And mind you, this is all from what we're seeing, that we have black media, people on the actual case, like being inside the courtroom, and they're trying to discredit their accounts of what they're saying to make it not fit because it's not fitting their narrative. And I've been seeing a lot of that. A lot of these content creators and YouTubers, whatever, completely trying to disregard the actual truth. And that's why this tragedy, you feel me? This tragedy that we're witnessing right now is just, like I said, is permeating through the entire culture. Like, this is going mainstream, and it's going to be one of those conversations that we're going to have for a long time, because, there's people who still talk about the OJ trial. You know what I'm saying? We know how long ago that was.
They're still mad about that.
Exactly. So. Right. So now I think this is gonna be one of them ones where this is gonna be something that people are gonna keep their eyes on. Obviously, if this goes to appeals, then it's gonna be a whole nother layer again, and all these races are gonna come back out of their little celebration that they've been having to say that he's still gonna be in there, man. I don't know why you guys think this is just okay. I've been seeing these dudes on these panels getting so upset because we're standing on business here, and like, shut up, bro. Like, we ain't got time for that, man. Like, y'all thought that we was gonna hit the streets and riot because of this. No, we gonna make sure that we debunking all the false narratives on these YouTube streets, because y'all love to do that over here. So y'all hate the fact that we're using our platforms to speak against it. Like I mentioned, I had over almost 250 comments, and half of them was all racist, trying to talk crazy about what we were saying in the last live stream. Like, y'all can go somewhere with that. Don't be mad at the truth. Be mad at your mama.
They were so mad in those comments. I went back and watched or looked at them recently. I was like, oh my gosh, they are so mad. And then I don't know who that was mad about me having a 4.0 and speaking about it twice. I said it twice. And he was like, oh, okay, I don't know. She said it twice. I don't believe it now.
Yeah, because a lot of black people, unless a white person validates us, we don't believe anything we say.
Sorry, y'all kicked me out. I don't know what happened.
Well, I became a leader. So on my show, we're gonna.
But yeah, y'all. I definitely got to dip out. It's getting late. You know what I'm saying? But I always appreciate y'all pulling up and showing me love, man. Because these conversations definitely need to be had. And tomorrow, like I mentioned, I'm gonna be doing a live where we gonna really get into like this economic standpoint of what this this blackout is going to do for our community from a number standpoint. We could really, like I said, I got a lot of stuff I put together so that we could really have like a deep dive in what this money could do. You know what I'm saying? So make sure
that'll be good.
Yeah, make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. I'll have the thumbnail up probably by tonight. But yeah, man, appreciate you guys pulling up. Anything y'all want to say before we close out?
Yeah, I just want to speak to that. That was actually what the last thing I was going to say was, or at least the next thing was just circling back around to what I said about reparations and how this is really kind of possibly proving to maybe be a possible solution to some of the things that I wanted us to solve with reparations, which is education in the community. Because if we all get on the same accord, we all learn self-defense, we all learn the laws surrounding self-defense, we all learn about the law in general and the different ways that we're discriminated against, so that we can more of us can be bringing cases. One thing that I've learned is, if you are going to continue to put me through this racism and this discrimination, then I'm going to keep making money off of it. I've already won a $13,000+ lawsuit. I have 2 more on the books for this year and last year. So we're doing it. And I got another one I'm working on adding to the books as well. So, just get paid for it. But yeah, we need that education. We need people to, because a lot of the stuff I'm seeing with this Carmelo case and the Cyrus case of people not knowing and saying the wrong things, all this stuff, condemning these kids, it's not going to work. We need to change.
I appreciate you, man. You have a great night. I'll catch you later. I have spoken.
Brandon, white supremacy is taking L's. Okay, they're taking L's, and I just need y'all to understand they're not winning. They're not winning, because back in the day they would have lynched Carmelo. And I'm going to tell you the truth. The fact that they can't do that, they've already lost. Like, that's why they're so mad, because back in the day they would have literally just gone to his house and strung him up. Like, they wouldn't have even had to go through a legal system. That is actually how far we have come, believe it or not. I just want to, highlight this, because we don't bring us back. That's what I always try to do, bring us back. Back in, like I said, they're mad because they really want, like Jarek Lang said, he should be lynched. That's how they all feel. That's why Jarek Lang is, and Derek Lang or whatever his name is, that's why he's in prison now. That's an L. He would have never gone to prison for saying that. Right? He would have never gone to prison for doing what he's doing. Chubby the Blunder, the fairy, the fact that he's in jail or whatever. They're taking L's. And I really need you guys to understand that. So as bad as we feel justifiable for Carmelo, white supremacy is losing. Internationally, their image is being tainted. Every single racist video, every single racist thing they say is viral, and it can go. Somebody in Japan could see it. Somebody in every country could see their behavior. They're losing this fight, right? And so what we need to do is start getting coordinated, start getting on code, start doing for self, start moving with each other, and start really living in reality, and stop negating the fact that racism is real. And it's not, and these people are not going to change. Stop talking to these people. Stop having conversations with these people. Stop trying to convince them of anything. That's not your job. After 250+ years, Jim Crow, segregation, look at all we've been through with these folks. And we still have to talk to them? Hell no. Stop having these conversations with these folks, man. They're irredeemable. And we're not talking about the white people who are trying to redeem themselves online, like Brandon showed. And I think showing those kind of white people is very important. Number one, because they're actually trying to save their identity, like their image, right? Number two, it shows it's like a way of what's the word when you're reinforcing good behavior. So like when you do with the kids, so it's like, okay, if you're gonna come out here and speak truth to power, then I'm gonna give you your flowers for that, right? Like, because they deserve that, because we need to encourage more of them that are brave enough to speak against their people, knowing that they'll go get lynched and get shot for it. We need to salute them for that, because they really don't have to do that, and understand that when they are doing things like that, they're putting their lives on the line. They're putting their image on the line. The way that the white supremacists operate, they will totally isolate people like that. They will make their life hell for doing that. So we do have to salute them and say, let them know that we appreciate that when they do that. So they're the ones that are trying to redeem themselves. That's great, because they understand that the end for them is demise. It's just utter demise, what's coming. And they're trying to, I guess, not have it happen, but it is going to happen. But the whites that are like the people you show, they'll probably join with blacks or other people and mix in and be done with whiteness.
Yeah. And we're definitely gonna find out. That's why I always, try to make sure I play the contrast, because right now is the time to pay attention to the people who are speaking and like you mentioned, from that perspective, because they can only correct themselves. It can't just be us telling y'all what's wrong with y'all. It got to be the people who are a part of the same ilk. You guys come from the same culture. Y'all got to correct yours, just like y'all always tell black folks to do that. You know what I'm saying? But salute to LeVar. Hey, however you would like to support the channel, a like is free. You feel me? So long as you like the video, long as you're subscribed to the channel, I know that you are, LeVar, so salute to you. We also have a super chat button. You hit the super chat button, you could directly donate through YouTube, or obviously Cash App is on the description on my channel. But like I mentioned, I just appreciate y'all coming through and hitting the like button. That's all the support that this channel needs. But if you feel compelled, there are other ways. So thank you, LeVar. I appreciate you, sir. All right. So Will says, well, we might as well go all out, and they trying to hang us anyways. Let the chips fall where they may. That's why, like Unspoken said, it's very important that you stay on your pivot. If you're training, if you're in shape, if you're making sure that you're taking care of your family, you're providing for your family, make sure that you got an exit strategy. Make sure that you're taking care of the people around you. You know what I mean? Because when things get tricky, you can't be the ones acting like it's by surprise when you are making, like I told y'all, if the chips gonna fall where they may, you got to be ready. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you're growing food. Make sure you're doing things that are outside the box. Make sure you learn how to fish. A lot of y'all don't know how to swim. Okay? A lot of things that you guys got to work on, we got to work on collectively as a people if we really talking about going there. You know what I'm saying? And once we start to do that, we can actually have that collective mentality. Because obviously, yes, we all want to be able to, move around. But the reality is, a lot of us got to get training. A lot of us got to be able to defend themselves. A lot of people don't know how to use no firearm. They wasn't raised underneath that. And we all got to do our collective work and help one another if that's what we on. So salute to you, Will. We appreciate you, brother. Always. But yeah, Spoken, you've got anything before we get up out of here?
No, guys, if you like anything I said today, check out my channel.
Yes, she has a great channel. She drops very informative videos and commentary. So salute to Unspoken. Thank you very much. All right, y'all. So we always gonna leave with a good vibe. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of this stuff we talked about was very dark. You know what I'm saying? It make you feel some type of way because of, what's going on. You know what I mean? It's a tragedy what's happening to Carmelo. We all feel it, you know what I'm saying, internally, just because obviously what he went through as a child and what he's going through right now as a man is going to change him as a person. And we send him all of our love and care, Godspeed to Carmelo, free Carmelo. You know what I mean? Salute, Unspoken. Thank you. But we're going to leave it, like I said, on a good note, like we always do. So Proverbs 21:5 says, good planning and hard work leads to prosperity, but hasty shortcuts leads to poverty. All right, y'all, remember that. So don't be skipping those steps. Make sure you put in the work. Make sure you plan for success. And trust me, God will provide. All right, because as much as we want to go to heaven up top, you can create your heaven right here on earth. If you have faith in God, have faith in yourself, have faith in the people around you. You know what I'm saying? Because we are capable of great things. If we all lock in, if we all stay on our purpose, we stay on our pivot, man, trust me, you can do anything in this world. You are so creative. You're great. You have a great mind. You're an intelligent individual. So never forget that. Never forget who you are, man, because like I mentioned, God told us this. God told us that great planning leads to success. So make sure when you out here doing stuff, you got a plan behind that. You know what I'm saying? I know that God has a plan for Carmelo, and we only hope the best. You know what I'm saying? So salute to y'all. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace.